I love living in Middle Tennessee. We've got great restaurants, entertainment, sports, and one of the nation's top Ford dealers right here in our backyard. Two Rivers Ford. Remember that name. Two Rivers has been a staple in our community since 1983. They're locally owned. They have a non-commissioned sales team, and they sell below MSRP. They've been doing business with integrity for decades. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Good morning. Welcome in on a beautiful, glorious Friday of this week one of the college football season. We are with you until 1 o'clock. Robert Walsh and myself, Lucas Panzica. Buck is not here. We don't have to maneuver around his college football ignorance. We can just do the show as it's meant to be done, the best version of it as he gallops off to Germany, and we're hanging out until 1 o'clock, and there is so much to discuss. But first things first, you got to come out and see us at Yazoo Brewing in Madison. We're here thanks to Porch Factory and Logo Brands, and we have free stuff. We have so much free stuff. Come by, pick up a six-pack of this pregame Pilsner, $9 for a six-pack to fuel your watch parties this weekend. Enter to win Tennessee versus ETSU tickets, Tennessee versus UAB tickets, Tennessee versus Arkansas tickets, gift cards for Volunteer Traditions that have brought us some stuff.
Oh, some good
beautiful
stuff.
Polos and socks and button-downs. Shout out to the people at Volunteer Traditions. All you got to do is come by and hang out. You enter the chance to win, and we are doing giveaways at every hour today. The first one is coming up at 11 a.m. Tennessee ETSU tickets on the line. All you got to do is show up here at Yazoo Brewing Company in Madison. You walk in, you enter to win. You don't have to be here at 11 a.m. when the drawing is made to announce the winner. We'll reach out to you, but you do have to be here to sign up. So get here before 11 o'clock. But if you can't make it, don't worry. Again, we've got giveaways at the top of every single hour. Bert, this is the most beautiful time of year when we have college football Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And of course, as I'm just settling in to watch Boise State in South Florida, Micah Parsons goes to the Green Bay Packers in a blockbuster trade that rocks the NFL world on what is supposed to be college football's weekend.
Yeah, big trade. And I think the biggest thing to take away from this is everyone hates Jerry Jones. I don't think there's one thing that he could do that would salvage his relationship at this point. Even if he rolled the rock out of in front of Jesus' crypt, I think people would still be upset at Jerry for trading Micah Parsons.
So the compensation, you've seen it by now. 2 first-round picks, defensive lineman Kenny Clark, the three-time Pro Bowler, coming in to stop the run. That's all the Cowboys wanted out of this offseason is to stop the run. Trade the generational pass rusher, and let's just focus on stopping the run. That's the spin for Jerry Jones. We'll hear from Jerry in a few minutes. But the contract is what has made waves. 4 years, $188 million, $120 million in guarantees. First of all, I don't know that I've seen a market reset like this in the same year, the way the pass rusher market, we'll say, has been reset, first with Myles Garrett and then Micah Parsons. Like, how does Trey Hendrickson feel today after he got, I'm not going to scoff.
Probably the same way he felt when he signed his deal.
The same way. I'm not going to scoff at a guy that's making $30 million this year, but at the same time, context is everything, and he got his little $14 million bump, and here's Micah Parsons making upwards of almost $50 million a year.
And I can't remember who made this point, but it was very astute on Twitter that it was a double whammy for the Packers. Not only did they acquire Micah Parsons with his record-breaking contract, they also may have set the Lions back in their contract negotiations with Aiden Hutchinson, who another young edge who's trying to get his contract done with Detroit. I'm sure they would love to get this off the table and not focused about it. But now, another rock in the way of the contract of the Detroit Lions getting it done with Aiden Hutchinson.
So where were you the day the Cowboys traded Micah Parsons? We'll talk about it. We've got a loaded show. Stoney Keeley's going to hang out at 10:20. Brett Kern is going to swing by in the noon hour. Of course, Coach Mack at 11:20, as is the custom each and every Friday. And we've got so much college football to talk about. This, of course, is the biggest news of the week and the biggest news of the month and of the NFL offseason happening, of course, in that week between preseason and week one. The main thing is, I can't believe Jerry actually did it. Like, I truly was blindsided that he actually did it, Robert. You can't make this stuff up. While there's a Netflix documentary airing about Jerry Jones and the impact he's had on the NFL and the Dallas Cowboys, mere weeks after he's speaking on the red carpet at the premiere of this Netflix documentary about how stirring things up is good for business. I thought Jerry was being performative with all this stuff and trying to draw attention on the Cowboys and make it a big thing, make it the story of the offseason before, of course, inevitably giving arguably the best defensive player in the NFL his extension. That was me giving Jerry too much credit to say that this was all intentional from Jerry Jones and he was actually going to get this done with Micah Parsons.
I don't want to just unload the clip in this first segment with all my thoughts, because I did call you in a rage about
you did.
And I don't even know how to spell this out without making me sound stupid, but like, it was dumb to trade him, and I also thought the return they got was adequate. Like, they weren't going to sign him, and they had very little leverage. It was a very transparent and public negotiation of, I'm tired of talking with his agent. Why does he want to do this deal with his agent in the room? It don't make no sense. I've signed 100 of these things in a silent room with no lights. Why the hell does he want his agent here? But to get two first-round picks back and a solid player in Kenny Clark, it is not enough to say, yes, Jerry got what he deserved with Micah. He's on the way out. It was a fair trade. It's the same reason teams were scared to trade for Lamar Jackson when he was on the negotiable franchise tag. No one wants to have to trade assets and sign someone to a blockbuster deal. I think that's an understated part of this trade. But Jerry also said some things yesterday that made me feel stupid about feeling that way by saying, what was the phrase? Those first-round picks could be Pro Bowl players.
I can't believe he said that.
You had a Pro Bowl player, Jerry.
I cannot believe he said that.
What are you doing? But I'm not upset about the compensation. If you look back at the Khalil Mack trade, they sent 2 firsts, a third, a sixth, and Khalil Mack.
Yep.
Or they got that back. They also had to send a second-round pick with Khalil Mack. The Dallas Cowboys had to make no such consolation. So I liked their return. I think you can say the trade is dumb and also like the return the Cowboys got at the same time.
Yeah, the trades are very comparable. Very comparable. There wasn't a player involved. I think Kenny Clark is worth a third and a sixth, which is what Oakland got on top of the 2 first-round picks, to your point, for Khalil Mack. And like you said, Chicago not only received Khalil Mack, but received 2 picks, including a conditional 5th as well. By the way, it is crazy. It's eerily similar, just where they were at in their careers. Khalil Mack, when he was traded, also 26 years old, also 4 seasons into his NFL career. He was a 2-time All-Pro and 1-time Defensive Player of the Year. Micah doesn't have the Defensive Player of the Year, but he is a 3-time All-Pro. Micah's got the 52.5 sacks. Khalil Mack had less. He had 40.5 sacks, but their impact very similar in the first 4 years of their career, where it felt like with Mack, we were watching a generational defensive player. That's what it feels like with Micah Parsons. And now he's in Green Bay, and they're going to push for a Super Bowl in this window. And here's Jerry Jones with the spin on why they traded Micah, or in his words, Michael Parsons. This was Jerry Jones yesterday meeting with Dallas media.
Why did you decide to trade Micah Parsons?
Well, without being too broad, obviously, we did think it was in the best interest of our organization, not only the future, but right now, this season as well. We've gained a Pro Bowl player. We've gained a Pro Bowl player in an area that we had big concerns in on the inside of our defense. Let me go beyond your question. First of all, I want to tell you that I really like Micah. I appreciate the 4 years that we've had him here, and he's a great player. And so we are very appreciative of the fact that he's a great player. There's no question that I could have signed him in April. And so we all know that to have agreements, all parties have to agree. But this was by design. I did make Micah an offer. It wasn't acceptable, and I honor the fact that it wasn't done in the way that he wanted to do it, through an agent.
All right, Justin, you can pay him down.
So he was made an offer. There's not
okay.
an
All right. That's enough of that. That's
Thanks,
Jerry
Dad.
Jones.
Thanks, Dad.
It was all part of the plan from Jerry Jones. I don't know that Jerry has ever had to eat as much crow as he is this week. I mean, this is insane. I still am blindsided that he actually did it, Robert. And he got the name right in that clip. He said Micah, but multiple times in that press conference yesterday did he call him Michael, to the point where his son Steven is correcting him in real time. And it's not the first time. Jerry's done this throughout the course of this whole charade. He's called Micah Michael Parsons. We put it to a poll. At Lucas Panzica is where you can vote. The question, what better describes Jerry Jones when he's calling Micah Parsons Michael? Senile or disrespectful? So go vote. We'll update the polls at the end of the show.
I fully expected him to call newly acquired defensive tackle Kenny Clark Kenny. Yeah, we brought in Clark Kenny, and he's a Pro Bowl player. He's a fantastic player, and he's going to be better than Micah ever was. I fully expected him to get his name wrong upon arrival.
There's just so much to unpack with this thing. But we've got the whole show to do it, and the whole show to talk about a loaded weekend of college football. Tennessee kicking off the season in Atlanta against Syracuse. We've got marquee matchups across the board. Notre Dame, Miami on Sunday, LSU, Clemson on Saturday, Ohio State, Texas, leading us off tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Time. Can't wait to get into it with all of you. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. We are also off and running on the F&M Bank chat, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch is where you can jump in. Ricky on the F&M Bank chat says, lost Luka and Micah this year. Sucks to be a Dallas fan. Is there a more helpless fan base in sports than that of the Dallas Cowboys right now?
Yes, the Cleveland Browns.
Okay, fair enough. 615-737-1045. We are out at Yazoo Brewing Company in Madison, thanks to Porch Factory and Logo Brands. Come by and see us. Enjoy some of this pregame Pilsner to celebrate college football kickoff weekend. Sign up to win a ton of free stuff. We've got Tennessee football tickets. We have got merch. Plus, we've got free shirts. We've got free glasses. Come by and hang out. Again, Yazoo Brewing Company in Madison.
Oh, wait. Before we get out of here, I almost forgot. My riddles.
Oh, yes. Robert has a carrot to dangle.
Okay, so my carrot to dangle is, I don't know if you guys have ever been to Yazoo before. Fantastic place, great beer. But more than that, there are board games. I am a board game aficionado. I would play Stratego with you right now if we didn't have a job to do. But I found this really cool game over here called Obama Llama, which is you have to find out what the rhyme is based off the description on the card. And I'm going to read these, and I feel like I could do one of these an hour. If someone can come in and tell me to my face what the answer to this riddle is, I will buy you a 6-pack of this pregame Pilsner for yourself, as long as you're 21. I guess I need to see some ID. There
Yeah, you'll have to see some ID.
There could be some legality in this. I'm not buying underage kids any beer. The male symbol of America resides in a mollusk that makes for great chowder.
So
the male symbol of America, who would be who?
that would be Uncle Sam.
Okay. And a mollusk that makes for great chowder is?
Oh, clam chowder.
Okay, Uncle Sam lives in a clam. If you can figure out the riddle, come in and tell me, I'll get you a 6-pack of this pill.
So you have to decipher.
And don't look it up. I'll know.
What you're saying.
I need to see your
and
Google
it has to
history.
result in a rhyme.
Yes.
Uncle Sam lives in a clam.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to sprinkle in one an hour. You got to come by and tell us the answer to the riddle to our face, and Robert will buy you a 6-pack of this pregame Pilsner, and you can sign up for free Tennessee football tickets and get you some free glasses and free T-shirts. We're going to be hanging out here until 1 o'clock. Cover 2-3HL swinging by as well. We will continue the conversation coming up next with Stoney Keeley on 104.5 The Zone. We are back from Yazoo Brewing Company in Madison, thanks to Porch Factory and Logo Brands. We're hanging out until 1 o'clock. Robert Walsh and myself, Cover 2, 3HL, all coming up. We are fueled, of course, by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Get you a bucket of that chicken this weekend for your watch party online at HattieB.com. With the promo code FOOTBALL, you get a quart of a free side as well. I suggest the pimento mac and cheese. Been getting into the Micah Parsons discussion despite all of the college football that is to come this weekend, which we will get to. And Stoney Keeley joins us in person out here at Yazoo Brewing, a man of many talents who is just all over the place on 104.5 The Zone, co-hosted 3HL yesterday, co-hosting Titans Talk Back this season with Zach Lyons and Kevin Dyson, and has given us his poetry book, Seasons Volume 2. What don't you do?
I sleep. I don't sleep. Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I'm in vacation mode this morning. It is a celebration here at Yazoo Brewing. There's already people here enjoying the festivities. I don't know who's on the dump button today, but they might want to be at the ready since it's vacation mode in here. I never know.
I wanted to read one of these before we started, so I picked the shortest one. This one's titled "My Toe Hurts."
Thank you.
Ingrown big toenail. Given the state of healthcare, I say let it rot. God, it's just
That's so good.
Thank you.
almost clairvoyant. You know?
It's funny because I've written, there's some very deeply vulnerable poetry in there, some personal poetry about my father who passed in 2014, my dog who passed a couple of summers ago, the love of my life, and then I've written stuff about Funko Pops, my ingrown toenail,
and Titans joint practice performances.
And Titans joint. There's a poem in that one about the Titans left tackle situation over the last couple of years.
We'll have to get that out
what's
of you
it called?
before this over.
It's I can't even remember, the revolving door. I think
Oh, yeah,
it's
that's
at the
about
beginning.
right. No, that's probably the one.
It's
probably what it is.
At the beginning of the book. But yeah, I do a lot of things. I have a lot of interests. So
Well, I'm interested in all of your interests. You're a interesting person.
can I give a shout out to my buddy Brett real quick, because he was so stoked to hear that we would be on the radio together today. He's a big fan of yours. and
Oh,
he's
shout out Brett. You have terrible taste in radio hosts and producers.
When I got the gig here, it was the first question he asked: when do you get to work with Brett?
Oh, today,
Today's the
Brett.
day.
Today.
Today's the day.
Shout
Oh,
out
man.
Brett.
I feel like I should just leave. I don't
Let
know.
us hang out
Oh yeah,
together.
yeah. Sorry, Lucas is here too. My bad.
Public makeout session.
Where were you when you heard the Micah Parsons news?
I was on the air on 3HL.
Yep.
I don't know, we broke news like crazy. The Micah Parsons trade, the Rick Barnes lifetime contract, the Tristan Keys committing to UT. It was kind of a crazy day. I was like, what's in the water
Pretty
around
good
here today?
introduction, man.
I feel like I'm on an island here, though, and Bert was kind of spitting about this trade a little bit. Like, I think the compensation is okay for what that Dallas team needs. I mean, if you look at that roster, they are a sneaky bottoming out candidate this season. Those 2 first-round picks are going to come in handy. And then to get a guy like Kenny Clark, who I don't think he's missed a game. Brent said it on the show yesterday. I don't think he's missed a game in 4 years. I think there's a misconception that he's an older guy, doesn't have a lot left in the tank, but he's still a good player that I think they can get a couple of good years out of him. And this is a team that I think is much closer to a rebuild than people think. So I didn't hate it. I know it's easy to say, well, they had the talent in Micah Parsons. They should have paid him. But if he was as disgruntled as he seemed, sometimes you hit an impasse where you can't get through. And if that's the case, you get the best that you can get. And I think it's a pretty good deal. Now, the question becomes, do you trust the guy who's throwing draft picks at Joe Milton and Jonathan Mingo to conduct a rebuild with those 2 first-round picks? I don't know. But I actually think it's an okay deal that could work out well for everybody.
With Kenny Clark, I was looking at his stats and PFF stuff yesterday. As far as a versatile defensive lineman goes, he can play nose, he can play 3 technique.
Yeah.
I would say he's probably the second best pass rushing nose behind Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah.
Like it gives them a lot of juice, but you talked about the age. Not necessarily a huge indicator that defensive linemen are going to suck as soon as they turn 30. It's not like running back or anything else. So I agree with your points there. Where do they go from here? What does Jerry do from here? How do you right the ship with this? Like, do you just have to come out week 1 and be like, you know what, Joe Milton's starting to. We're selling Dak down the river.
I don't know, man, but they probably looked up and saw that Philadelphia Eagles offensive line coming in week 1, and they were like, you're going to have to throw in a defensive tackle here, buddy.
Oh, Willie Lampkin's coming?
I knew you were going to bring it up. Don't talk about our boy like that.
I love me some Willie
the
Lampkin.
rich get richer, man. It's not fair. When you see a tush push this year and Willie Lampkin is the one tushing pushing the tush, just know that he's a dog. And I'm upset that he's
Or I
in
think
Philly.
it'll be his tush being pushed.
Oh, you think they would replace him?
case.
They would take Hurts out of the way and let him push, or him be the tush.
Oh, well, the center's tush is also being pushed, right?
That's true. That's true.
Hey, I'm dying for some Willie Lampkin fullback reps in Philadelphia.
I just need somebody to give him a shot, man. Let him get a carry. Come on.
That's all it takes, man. That guy's tough as nails.
Stoney Keeley hanging out with us at Yazoo Brewing Company in Madison, where you should come hang out, drink some beer, eat some Grill Shack. It'll open up here in a few minutes. Great burgers, great wings. I can't wait to enjoy some of that. So, yeah, to your point, like, it is so hard to process right now, but there is a scenario where this works for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
If one or two of those first-round picks is parlayed into a trade-up for a franchise quarterback to replace Dak Prescott, said franchise quarterback brings the Cowboys success over the next 10 years, there's a scenario where we're looking back in 2035 and saying, oh, man, that Micah Parsons deal actually changed the Cowboys for the better. But, Stoney, it is so hard to see that right now when Jerry Jones is saying, we could get a couple Pro Bowlers with those draft picks. And Micah Parsons is joining a team that is in that Super Bowl window right now, a year after Jerry Jones is telling the world that they're going all in.
It's like Family Guy. Is it a is it a mystery box or is it a boat? Well, the mystery box could be anything. It could even be a boat. Yeah. You had arguably the best defensive player in the NFL, and you let him go because maybe 2 first-round picks could be Pro Bowlers. I mean, you hope your first-round picks are Pro Bowlers, but again, it just speaks to, like, in a vacuum, if you look at the trade itself alone, there's positives for both sides, but then you have to factor in the guy that holds those first-round picks is the same guy that's throwing draft picks at Joe Milton and Jonathan Mingo.
But he's got a Netflix documentary to watch, so
well,
maybe
that's true.
That
I'm sure he's got a press conference going right now too as we speak. He's probably at a desk somewhere talking to somebody.
Man loves to talk. How does this elevate the Packers?
Man, I look at it as the missing piece for Green Bay. They have been trying to get some pass rush juice. They've been throwing picks at linebackers, at defensive linemen, at defensive ends, and it just seems like that's the one thing that they haven't been able to get. I can't remember their defensive coordinator's name, but he was the guy that they got from Boston College. He wants to run kind of this in vogue scheme right now, and you got to have some teeth in the pass rush. It's the thing that they've been missing, but if you look at their roster, man, they've got some good depth at defensive line. They've got some talented young linebackers. They've got some talented defensive backs. This was the piece that they needed. They've got a good young offensive line. They just addressed wide receiver heavily in the draft with Matthew Golden and Savion Williams as well. There's some talent there. Jordan Love, we know what he is. This, to me, looks like a franchise that felt they were one piece away from really contending for a Super Bowl, going to get that guy, and they might have got the best guy in the league at it.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the offseason when they kind of shoved the Packers that were never really like a free agency frenzy team. They kind of like let the guys come to them, draft and develop, re-sign. This reminds me of when they signed both Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith in the same offseason to just completely reshore their pass rush after losing Clay Matthews. I wonder if they're going to be able to do that. I think that's the big question, especially for Hafley as a first-year defensive coordinator. Like, now you've got the ammo. Like, how do you pull the trigger?
Yeah, I think it's interesting, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how they rotate guys too, whether they use Micah Parsons as just a pure edge rusher or if they tap into his experience at linebacker and drop him back. Like he's a really interesting chess piece that you can use in multiple ways.
Well, it's sobering to go from talking about Micah Parsons and his impact in Green Bay to the Titans pass rush. But
oh boy,
let's do that.
Yeah.
What do you feel like you learned about Femi Oladejo and his developmental path this year throughout the preseason?
This year, I think there's still a long way to go, and I think he certainly looks the part. I think you hear this coaching staff talk about the intangibles, the traits, that sort of thing. The guy looks like he was put on this earth to rush the passer. What we haven't seen, what we didn't see on his tape at UCLA, was experience in rushing the passer. I mean, it's from a toolkit standpoint. He doesn't really flash a lot of moves on tape, and he doesn't show counters a lot, and that's something that I don't think we saw in the preseason as well. So, you had kind of hoped that maybe they would get there to a good base level this preseason, and I don't think it ever really materialized for him. So it's not to say that he's never going to be a good pass rusher. I don't want that to be the message that comes across. It's just that I think we have to be a little more patient than we were when the pick was announced.
And while the Titans didn't claim any pronounced edge help on their waiver claims, they did add 5 guys who can contribute and help.
Yeah.
I wonder if you've gotten to look at any of them and have any takeaways from the 5 waiver claims.
Not yet. I think it's really interesting, and I asked Greg Cosell about this on 3HL yesterday. I think it's really interesting that they continue to churn at cornerback, and I kind of wanted to know, like, what is it about that position in this scheme that makes them, like, it's so important that they've got to get this right, because they've added 3 new corners this week, and I know only 2 were the waiver claims, but then they added the other kid, Webb. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
I know. I can only say
it's vacation mode, guys. Give me a break here.
Sam Webb.
But I think, it's with Jalen Armour-Davis, man, there is some real talent there, and I think the questions have just been injuries. And so if you get him at a place where he's healthy, this could be like a right place, right time kind of moment for him, because they're going to need somebody in that room to step up this season the way that they deploy those defensive backs. The kid Ravenel from the Ravens practice squad, I know when it was reported, I think he was listed as a defensive end, but if you go to the Titans website, he's a defensive lineman. I mean, the guy's like 6'5", 300 pounds. To me, I look at that in their draft, develop, retain model that they've talked about all offseason as like, he's the guy behind Draymond Jones, I feel like. He's going to be the developmental guy that they want in that bigger body role that can play inside, slide outside in some cases. And so I'm interested to see how he develops here as well.
I mean, you just sit here and try to formulate, okay, how can the Titans just figure out ways to affect the quarterback in 2025, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you go through these scenarios. Do we see something click for Femi a few weeks into the season? Is this Denard Wilson's time to show something as the defensive play caller? And then the one I keep coming back to is Jeffrey Simmons just having a monster year, just being healthy and being back to the Jeff that we saw in 2021 in that playoff game against Cincinnati. I mean, if Cam Ward's the most important player for the Titans this year, which he obviously is, Jeffrey Simmons is the second most, right?
Yeah.
In terms of raising that ceiling of affecting the quarterback. What kind of year does Jeff have to have just to move the Titans outside of the bottom 10 when it comes to that part of the game?
Man, it's tricky because I know he said that he wants to come out and have double-digit sacks or whatever. I think it's going to take that kind of performance from Jeffrey Simmons. It's going to have to be one of those. As far as the pass rush goes, this dude just putting the team on his back and willing it to sacks, basically. I think the best case scenario for this defense, and I kind of feel for Denard Wilson, because it kind of feels like this offseason was all about rebuilding the offensive line, adding some weapons, getting the quarterback, and then they looked at Denard and just said, man, here's what you got. Go cook. Figure it out, exactly. And so I think, but I do commend them for putting a really interesting plan together to get bigger to stop the run, because then you think, well, if you stop the run, you force teams into obvious passing situations, maybe it's a little easier to get after the quarterbacks. And then you hope that Femi develops nicely, and then you start pulling some of these linebackers. I personally think James Williams has some interesting pass rush potential, and I'm curious if they'll tap into it all this season. But you got the safeties. It's going to be a team effort in blitzing and getting after quarterbacks. I think we're going to see like Jarvis Brownlee's skill set utilized on blitzes, Roger McCreary some. It is going to be a community effort. And who knows, maybe if they stop the run, use Jeff a little more multiple, I guess, in different spots, and they get some help from their linebackers and secondary. You know what? Maybe this is a case if the offense develops and they give up big plays on defense, they're fine with it because they're winning games like 31-28 or something like that.
Stoney Keeley hanging out with us at Yazoo Brewing in Madison. Come see us. Your chance to win free stuff, season tickets. We're talking about merch, beer, food out here in Madison at Stoney Keeley on Twitter.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up James Williams, because that linebacker 2 spot was probably one of the most talked about positions outside of like wide receiver or quarterback this offseason. Why is it a good thing, or I guess, do you see it as a good thing that I don't even know how to ask this question. I feel like this linebacker spot, we've said, okay, James Williams been impressive. James Williams going to win it.
Yeah.
But Caleb Gray has come on.
Cedric Gray.
I'm going to do it all day. Has come on impressively towards the end of preseason.
Sure.
Why is that a good problem for Denard and platooning that position rather than saying, James Williams, you're going to start right beside Cody Barton 100% of the time?
Yeah, well, I think to put it simply, the more good players you have, the better. The better. So, and I do think that it's interesting you bring that up, Bert, because it did feel like all summer it was James Williams' spot to lose, and it's almost like, it's kind of like the tortoise and the hare, It's like James Williams is ahead this whole summer, but then boom, right in the preseason, Cedric Gray gets the opportunity and makes the most of it. And I do think what's interesting about this, it's a good thing to develop, right? You go from back in the spring where, like, do they even have a linebacker two, to now it's like, oh, they might have two linebacker twos here next to Cody Barton. It's a good problem to have. But Cedric Gray is the more decisive run defender, really good at filling gaps, getting in the hole. We've seen on those plays where they kind of crashed one spot on the offensive line, like the end hits the offensive line and the linebacker comes in behind them with the opening. We've seen Cedric Gray take advantage of those opportunities. He put a running back on the ground on one play, and I think he can get a couple sacks off stuff like that. James Williams, I feel like, is the more dynamic, twitchier athlete, and that's why I think you could see him lined up outside on some plays and maybe leveraged as a pass rusher. So it gives Denard Wilson, in a season where, like I said, it feels like they're just throwing a bunch of slop at him and saying make gumbo, like, it gives him some good ingredients, gives him a little spice in that gumbo, if you know what I'm saying.
I do know what you're saying. I love a spicy gumbo.
What about a gumbo-flavored candle?
Ooh, and you've led us right into the game I would like to play with you. This is enough football. We've done enough big brain football. Now, you are a lover of candles.
I love candles.
You write about them at Sobros for Yankee Candle. Anything Yankee you love. Well, I have a bunch of candle scents that I want to know if you would burn these candles.
Let's do it.
Or you would spurn these candles.
Let's do it.
Throw them in the trash heap. Let's start with bowling alley. If there was a candle scented as a bowling alley.
I would be into that because, a lot of people are into, like, the cinnamon, sugar cookie. I don't like that stuff. I want smells like experience. I like
take you somewhere.
The nature stuff. Like, I've got a buddy out in New Mexico, a candle company called South of Sanity. He just did a fragrance that was called Haunted Video Store.
Oh,
and it smells like moldy film and like burning metal. And I'm like, oh, this rules so much.
That's incredible. Okay, well, I'm glad you brought that up because my next one is Spirit Halloween Store.
Yes, I'm in. Absolutely.
I just need the plastic, the latex,
the inside of a mask.
The old Kroger that's been torn down, that's now been repurposed to be a Spirit Halloween. I love that smell. Gasoline.
Gasoline, I'm in.
It would not be flammable, because you don't get to put fire near that without seeing it spark up. But
what if they put it at the bottom, so when the wick gets to the bottom, the jar just explodes?
You're a genius. You're a genius. A poet, a writer, and a genius. Disney water ride.
No, I don't. I think I'm going to pass on that.
Spurning that one.
You don't need the chlorine in your.
I don't need the chlorine. I want good experiences. I don't think that sounds like a good experience.
We've got a couple in the F&M Bank chat too. Jack says a Lowe's scented.
Yes.
Oh, yes. The lumber
hardware store.
Lumber, a little bit of maybe some oil in there somehow, maybe some I don't know, WD-40. That's what I'm looking for.
I'm down with
WD-40,
that.
some paint.
I would love a WD-40 scented candle.
Yeah,
maybe a brewery scented, maybe a Yazoo Brewing scented candle.
Oh, it smells fantastic, but not for long because I'm here.
Beer and sweat.
That sounds like a podcast you'd do with Devondre. Waffle House to wrap us up.
Yes, absolutely.
Like a 130 Waffle House where the syrup's on the floor.
Yeah.
There's a fight going on. Someone has some terrible music on the touch.
A tinge of cigarettes.
Can I get my waffle? Like, people are just fighting in the background. That's the Waffle House.
Maple syrup and blood.
Yeah.
I'm with it. Let's do it. I think there might actually be a Waffle House candle out there.
Oh,
I think so. Don't check me on that. I might look it up later.
We might have to do that. Those are my scents.
Good on you, man. What a great segment.
We try our best.
Writer, podcaster, ball knower. poet extraordinaire, Stoney Keeley, hanging out.
The true Renaissance man.
Where can people
Thank you.
get a copy of Seasons, Volume 1 or Volume 2?
If you just search my name on Amazon, all 3 of my books are up there. I got 2 poetry books, and then my buddy Brandon Vick and I wrote a movie annual covering the year in film last year. We got
very
another
cool.
one coming out this year.
Okay.
So
Very
you can
cool.
search Stoney Keeley on Amazon and buy a paperback copy, or you can get it for your Kindle.
When are we hearing from you next?
Oh, brother, I think it'll be F words on Thursday
Okay.
night because it's vacation mode. I'm
There
going
you
to do
go.
a little overnighter and get back to work next week.
You get back to the bar, buddy.
Well, I got my laptop with me. I just got a notification that the Iowa State Kansas State tape dropped in my inbox.
Oh, so you're ready to
I'm gonna go watch some tape over in the corner.
That's my guy.
You sicko.
That's
I love
my
it.
guy.
At Stoney Keeley on Twitter. Thanks for hanging out, man.
I appreciate you guys. Awesome show.
Appreciate you.
Can't
Love
wait
you
to
so.
hang. It's a celebration.
No doubt. The SEC stat of the day is next.
Why would you do this? Justin.
I'm sorry.
No.
okay.
My finger slipped.
Curry, it's like, what happened?
I mean, what are you going to do?
Justin, I thought we were friends. Thought you were in my corner. Guess I was wrong. Guess I'll do a stat now.
Yes, from where? Where are we doing the stat from?
At Yazoo Brewing Company.
In the
Madison.
Sack Dungeon.
In Madison, actually.
Yeah.
Thanks to Porch Factory and Logo Brands, who do not endorse what just happened. Come hang out, kick off your Labor Day weekend, your college football kickoff weekend. We are here. Cover 2 will be here. 3HL will be here. And while you are here, you have to be here in person to sign up for a chance to win Tennessee season tickets, prize giveaways every hour. All you got to do is walk in, scan a QR code near the front desk, and that signs you up to win hourly prizes and the grand prize drawing, Tennessee football season tickets. That drawing happens at 6. There is a drawing happening at the top of every hour. The drawing coming up in 13 minutes, Tennessee ETSU tickets for the game next week, the home opener at Neyland Stadium. You got to be here in person to sign up. You don't have to sit around and wait in order to win. We'll reach out to you, but hang out, grab a beer, a pregame Pilsner. Grill Shack is here, burgers, wings. So hang out with us. Again, we're here all day. Okay, SEC stat of the day. Season openers. LSU has not won a season opener, Robert, since when?
Ooh, 2018.
19.
Oh.
2019. That is pre-COVID. That is the season that they won the national championship with Joe Burrow and Ed Orgeron and Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. That is 5 straight season openers that the LSU Tigers have lost. They have come against Florida State. They have come against, last year it was USC. And this year, tomorrow, LSU goes to Clemson. The Battle of the Death Valley, 6:30 Central kickoff. Welcome to a national championship contender to snap this streak of season opening losses for LSU. Meanwhile, when's the last time Tennessee lost a week 1 opener?
2009.
2019.
Ooh.
5 straight. Same streak.
Who'd they lose to?
Georgia State. The infamous.
So what is it about LSU that wants to keep scheduling all these big dogs? Why don't they want to, like Florida's playing SIU, which is like an FBS sub-program. Like, why the hell does LSU not schedule a cupcake here? Like, let's get this monkey off our back. Let's schedule Eastern Kentucky State Community College and beat the hell out of them, and then play somebody good next week.
I mean, I can go back to all of them. 2020, COVID year. I don't know if you remember this. You were in ACC country at this point. But LSU stunned. It's COVID year, right? 10-game all-SEC slate. LSU was stunned by Mike Leach's Mississippi State Bulldogs. Mike Leach's debut, they went into Death Valley, the one in Baton Rouge, not the one LSU will be playing in tomorrow, and literally broke records. Broke SEC records with that air raid, and the defending national champs were, I can't remember the score, if it was a lopsided game, but were stunned at home against Mississippi State. 2021, Ed Orgeron's last year. UCLA, they lose in that game. 2022 and 2023 were the Florida State losses. 2024 was the USC loss in Vegas at a neutral site. And now they have their toughest task to snap that streak against the Clemson Tigers. You're right, they've scheduled tough. That's the USC team last year that ended up going 6-6. Down the stretch. So the ever underachieving LSU program so far under Brian Kelly now has to do it against a Clemson team that, in my opinion, has an advantage up front, defensively especially. That Clemson D-line might be the best in the country. LSU replaces a ton on offense. The quarterback duel will be what's highlighted. Garrett Nussmeier on one side, Cade Klubnik on the Clemson side, and home field advantage obviously in favor of Clemson. We'll do some pick'em stuff with Brett Kern coming up later on. Clemson is a narrow favorite in this game, but LSU looking to snap that streak. Tennessee hoping to preserve its week 1 win streak as they play a Syracuse team with all sorts of unknowns. Bert, we talked to Mike Wilson just the other day, and I was curious to ask him about what he thinks the approach will be with Joey Aguilar, because looking at the context of this game, and I mean like in the first half, Tennessee replaces a lot, yes. They bring back less than 40% of their offensive production from last year. But the majority of players that they have replacing that production are players that were in the system last year, that were recruited by Tennessee, and that are now stepping into those roles. Mike Matthews, Braylon Staley at wide receiver, David Sanders. Larry Sanders is Brentwood Academy running back for my high school game tonight. David Sanders on the offensive line. Lance Hurd, who was here last year. Deshaun Bishop in the backfield. Joey Aguilar is really the only key piece of that Tennessee offense that's starting this year that came in and had to get a crash course on this offense. But that's the quarterback. It's a huge wild card. Meanwhile, on the flip side, Syracuse has tons of new faces that are still getting their bearings in New York, in Syracuse. And that's going to be a big factor in this game to me and how Tennessee approaches this thing in the first half. How comfortable are they this early with Joey Aguilar to, as Mike Wilson put it with us, go pedal to the metal. Just grip it and rip it. He's a gunslinger to lean into that mentality. Or does Tennessee take the approach that they took oftentimes last year of just trying to control games? Because I understand that there is some consternation about this Tennessee run game that's losing Dylan Sampson. But all Tennessee has ever done under Josh Heupel is be able to run the football. No matter who's back there, no matter who's blocking. They've rushed for over 2,500 yards as a team in each year of the Heupel era. It's never happened in Tennessee football history in the modern era. So that's the thing I'm so much more confident in than how good Joey Aguilar will be. So I'll be very curious to see if Tennessee just tries to wear down Syracuse, who was dreadful at stopping the run last year, by the way. Bottom 5 in the ACC, gave up 150 rush yards per game. Or if they do just say, no, we're going to go back to being the Tennessee of 2021 and 2022 that was averaging 14 points per first quarter and was among the best in the country in that statistic, which has dropped off significantly in the last couple years.
Okay, I'm gonna do a little check for you. Where is your BVS at? Your fear of this game on a scale of 1 to 5. 5 being the worst, 1 being I ain't worried about Fran Brown.
2.5.
Riding the line.
It's 2.5 because I have this weird feeling going into this year for Tennessee where, like, going into last year, for me, it was playoff or bust. If you do not make the first 12-team playoff, the season is a disappointment with the hopes of Nico having a year in the system, the talent on this team. There's this sort of pressure that even as a fan, this tension that comes with that. This season, I don't have those type of expectations. I've kind of got my legs kicked up saying, all right, let's see what happens here. I feel good enough about the floor of this program and the talent on paper that Tennessee has built this foundation with to think that there's not going to be this, anything is possible, but I have confidence that there's not going to be this dramatic bottoming out. I'm also not going to sit here and say I think this team's going to win 10 games. It's kind of this, there's a lot of variance there, and I'm just sitting back saying, all right, let's see what happens. But Tennessee's a 2-touchdown favorite this weekend, and I expect them to win on Saturday. There's a lot of unknowns. We'll see what happens. But I'd say 2.5 for that sort of relaxed, almost house money pressure off field to know that this isn't the year where you feel like you're in this window to win a championship. But also there's a lot of variance and wild cards to it that could make week 1 an unexpected result.
If I'm hearing you correctly, you would almost have more worry about this game if Nico was your quarterback because of the expectations. You would be more nervous about this game because of the expectation that you just started nervously thumping your foot when I brought his name up like Voldemort. Because the expectation would be, it would be the year. You made the playoff last year with the same guy.
Yeah.
Now it would be to take a leap. Do you think that is the case? Do you think you have less?
I think there's something to what you're saying. Yeah,
okay.
I really do. And Nico, by the way, will make his UCLA debut tomorrow night, 10 p.m. kickoff against Utah. That'll be interesting to watch. So, yeah, it's this interesting vibe going into that game. By the way, 11 a.m., you can hear it right here on The Zone. Ramon Foster making his Vol Network
Big
debut
dog,
with
man.
Mike Keith. I am so pumped to hear those guys call Tennessee football on the Vol Network starting with that game tomorrow. So make sure you're tuning in for that. Can't wait to listen. A lot more college football talk to come. We have an opportunity, though, for you to come in and not only sign up to win a bunch of free stuff, season tickets, free merch from Volunteer Traditions, the best there is, and more, but also an opportunity to get a free 6-pack of this pregame Pilsner, courtesy of one Robert Walsh. If they do what, Robert?
All you have to do is answer my riddle. So what I'm going to read is a prompt. You will glean from that prompt a rhyming response. For example, this is not the rhyme we're giving out. A fast, spiky blue computer character created by Sega, ambling with a Dachshund, which is a dog. So Sonic the Hedgehog walking a wiener dog would be the answer.
So the prompt, fast and spiky blue computer game character created by Sega, ambling with a Dachshund.
Dachshund. Okay,
Thank
we've been
you, Kirby.
corrected. Would be Sonic the Hedgehog walking a wiener dog. So
Okay.
so that one's a little harder. I feel like this one's
That's a very hard one.
I feel like this one's easier. Cheech Marin's partner enjoying a game of table tennis.
It has to rhyme.
So you have to look at Cheech Marin, who was his partner, and how would that rhyme with a game of table tennis? If you can tell me what the rhyming response to that is, I'll give you a free pack of
In
this
person.
six-pack. Yes.
You have to be here.
Kirby already knows
Kirby
it.
knows it.
Kirby, I've read about 6 or 7 of these
Yeah,
to
he's
Kirby.
nailing these.
And after he figured out what the rhyme and reason of these was, Kirby has been knocking these out of the park. So do not come here and ask Kirby to solve the riddle for you first and then just come get a free 6-pack. That's not how this works. You got to come in with your own noggin and tell me about this.
Yazoo Brewing Company in Madison. The Madison location is where we are, and Cover 2 will be out here. 3HL will be out here. Come in and give the answer to the riddle. Robert will buy you a free 6-pack, and you can sign up to win a bunch of tickets and a bunch of merch. Hour 2 is coming up next. The biggest players to watch with college football kickoff weekend. We'll talk about it next.
It is 11:02. Good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Tennessee Titans wrapped up training camp yesterday, and preparations for Week 1 against the Denver Broncos in Mile High begin next week. A blockbuster trade in the NFL yesterday as the Dallas Cowboys traded All-Pro defensive end Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers for 2 first-round picks and defensive lineman Kenny Clark. Parsons and the Packers agreed to a 4-year, $188 million extension that includes $136 million guaranteed. Parsons now becomes the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history at $47 million per year. The Tennessee Vols, per Hayes Fawcett of Rivals, land the top wide receiver in the 2026 class and 5-star wide receiver Tristan Keys, who's flipped his commitment from LSU to Tennessee. Also, the Tennessee Vols basketball head coach Rick Barnes, he signed a lifetime contract yesterday. Athletic director Danny White announced Barnes will make $6 million per year until he decides to retire. Tomorrow, a new era in Tennessee football begins as Mike Keith and Ramon Foster with their first broadcast on Vol Network as the Tennessee Vols take on the Syracuse Orange at 11 a.m. in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium for Week 1. You can hear the broadcast right here on 104.5 The Zone, which get started right around 8:30. Also, Vanderbilt Commodores and quarterback Diego Pavia kick off their season tomorrow night at 6 p.m. on SEC Network as they take on Charleston Southern at First Bank Stadium here in Nashville. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Number 2 from Yazoo Brewing Company in Madison. We are celebrating college football's kickoff, and we are out here until 6 p.m. Robert and myself, Lucas Panzica, until 1. We are fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best in the world. Let them be the ones to fuel your watch party this weekend. Cover 2 is coming up next, 3HL, with a couple of Titans legends, Kevin Dyson and Mark Mariani, hanging out with Brent Doherty today. So come on by, sign up to win a bunch of free stuff, Tennessee tickets, merch, free T-shirts, glasses, and more, and meet a couple of Titans legends while you're at it. Speaking of, before we move on to the biggest players to watch this weekend in college football, we are doing a giveaway at the top of every hour. All you got to do is walk into Yazoo Brewing, you scan the QR code, that automatically signs you up for each of our hourly giveaways and the grand prize drawing at 6 for Tennessee football season tickets. Our winner for the 11 a.m. giveaway, Tennessee versus ETSU tickets for the home opener next week in Neyland Stadium, goes to Caitlin Walker. Caitlin Walker, you are headed to ETSU, Tennessee next weekend. Is she in the house or is she driving around? I think she is. Is this Caitlin Walker? Fantastic.
Hey, you have to scream. The only way you get it is it.
There it is.
There you go.
All right, our promotions director, Rich Ferris, will get with you. Here's the thing. You walk in, you got to be in person to sign up. You don't have to be in person to win. You can scan the QR code, enter, and then go on about your day. Or you can hang out, drink some beer, eat some great grill shack out here at Yazoo. We will reach out to you. So we are here thanks to Porch Factory and Logo Brands. Congrats to Caitlin. The 12 p.m. giveaway will be a Tennessee hat and a gift card from Volunteer Traditions, who brought me a bunch of great stuff today.
And we're not eligible to win those, right? I did sign up under a couple of my aliases, so hopefully those get drawn.
No, we are not eligible to win those. You are wearing your Bill Dance Vols t-shirt, though, which
I am.
is fantastic.
Look at that. Did you have any of those, the Billy Bass? Or there, I think there was like a Carrie catfish too, but it was like the fish that would mount on the wall and then his head would pop off and sing.
Of course.
So that's what I thought of.
I think of Sopranos when I think of that too.
Oh yeah, take me to the river. Cheyenne got me this, so I was like, I will happily wear this today.
We are on 104.5 The Zone TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Ron Slay is in the chat as he always is. He loves to see it. Robert Walsh wearing orange and white. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. I'm sorry about your ECU Pirates, by the way. Heartbreaker last night. Down 17 early against NC State.
Down 24-7.
Down 24-7. Stormed back. Faced a 3rd and 1, then a 4th and 1 in the red zone.
The 3rd and 1 was a first down.
It
no one
looked like
even
it to
looked at it. It was like, oh, no, 4th down. And then the Pirates didn't even argue about it, didn't even complain. They're like, oh, okay, we'll take the 4th and 1.
Yeah, and then the pass behind the sticks.
Stupid play call. But you know what? In all fairness, they did not deserve to win that game. Too many self-inflicted penalties early. Defense played well enough. If you hold another college team under 24 points, you should have a chance to win. They had a chance late and just trickled down their pants.
Dave Doran's NC State Wolfpack. By the way, Dave Doran, there is a tie there to Tennessee before we talk about the biggest players to watch this weekend. During the great Schiano Sunday coaching search of 2017, obviously, you remember. Greg Schiano hired, and then Tennessee's fan base revolts, and then next thing you know, it's one coach after another. Mike Gundy leverages his position to get a raise out of Oklahoma State. And Tennessee went after Dave Doran. What doesn't get talked about from that coaching search is there was a mini revolt as soon as Tennessee fans heard that Dave Doran was the next pivot, because all the Freedom of Information Act stuff came out. Every single text and email from John Curry came out from that coaching search, and you could see the timeline that they reached out to Dave Doran to talk about the job. Dave was all in. His agent is emailing back John Curry, let's do this. Dave is fired up.
Of course he was. Where was he at the time?
At NC State.
So he would have left NC State.
Oh,
okay,
big time.
Okay.
But Tennessee's fan base gets a hold of this news and has not quite a protesting with picket signs on campus revolt, but social media goes nuts. Dave Doran, that's who we're turning to. And John Curry just ghosted Dave Doran and his agent. There are multiple emails from Dave Doran's agent. Hello? We're fired up. Are we doing this?
Still fired up.
I know. But
those 2 a.m. Are you up? I thought we were hanging out tonight, baby.
That was what it was. But the narrative out there was that Dave Doran, another coach that spurned Tennessee, which, rightfully so. It felt like, Mike Gundy certainly did that. But no, John Curry reached out, and then somebody's in his ear like, no, pivot away, and he stopped.
Don't bring Double D in here. We do not want Double D.
A little bit of mini history there. Anyway, players to watch this weekend. Look, Texas Ohio State kicking off at 11 a.m. Like, we could start with the obvious here. Arch Manning, with this first year being the full-time starter for Texas. We saw him in limited sample sizes last season. Here's the thing about the Ohio State-Texas game tomorrow, where Ohio State replaces 8 starters on defense. They are breaking in a new quarterback in Julian Sayin, who's just named the starter, the Alabama transfer. And Julian Sayin has an opportunity to do something here. As Texas goes into Ohio State, and all eyes are on Arch Manning. The hype train is off the charts, which, by the way, the amount of people that are acting like the hype train for Arch Manning is simply there because of his last name. He's a 6'4" freak athlete, 5-star at quarterback. His last name was Johnson. The hype would still be there. Yes, there is an element of the Manning aura that just adds to it, but let's not pretend like the last name's the only reason why we're getting up for Arch Manning, okay? That aside, Julian Sayin's got an opportunity here to be the one people are talking about after this game. Alabama transfer to Ohio State. He wins the starting job. And it's an Ohio State team, Robert, that still, in my opinion, has the best offensive player in the country in Jeremiah Smith, who would be a top draft pick today, and the best defensive player in the country in Caleb Downs, the safety, who will be a first-round draft pick, another Alabama transfer. But just that's where my eyes are with this game. Not, Arch Manning, we get to see Arch Manning. It's, Julian Sayin's got a chance here to do something that has us talking about him.
I am very excited for that game. That's easily the best game of the Week 1 slate for me. Is it weird if my player to watch is not a player? It is a coach to watch?
No.
Because I would love to see how Bill Belichick is going to react to his game this weekend. I cannot wait to see the name Gio Lopez, the 4-star transfer, as their starting quarterback. Excited to see the Bill Belichick experience get started off with TCU this weekend.
Monday night.
It's Monday.
Yeah.
We got to wait till Monday to do this. You will have fun with that. I'm actually off Monday.
You are?
Some official business. I'll have more details about Tuesday.
Look forward to hearing about it.
Very excited to see Coach Bill Belichick's debut against TCU.
And then there's the coaching matchup of Dabo Swinney versus Brian Kelly, the quarterback matchup that is a headline there as well. But I'm very curious. We're getting shots called in the F&M Bank chat. Suck It Nerd on YouTube says Ohio State wins outright. Lonzo says Clemson is winning. Emmett says they say Ryan Day has Ohio State troopers protecting Jeremiah Smith. I mean, Jeremiah Smith could very well be the best offensive player in the country this season. Another guy that's right there, we talked about the wide receiver position in the SEC, or just in college football writ large, and the opportunity to have multiple guys that are in the top of that conversation, the Biletnikoff Award. Ryan Williams, Jeremiah Smith, not even draft eligible. They're not even draft eligible, and these are the best wide receivers in the country.
We learned about it at nauseum that he's how old is he this year? That we'll learn.
18.
He's,
That's right.
Yes. He's this 18-year-old receiver.
But I can't wait to see Ryan Williams and Ty Simpson and what that dynamic looks like at Florida State. Again, we'll talk about these games in terms of the picks that we're going to be making with Brett Kern, former Titans punter, will be hanging out with us, talking some Titans, talking some college football in the noon hour. The Ty Simpson-Ryan Williams duo is one to watch this weekend. And what Carson Beck does as he is broken in as Miami's quarterback, I'm not sure where to pin expectations on Carson Beck. Think about the path for Carson Beck over these last couple of years. From preseason number 1 overall pick, nobody thought he'd be at Georgia in 2025 because we thought he'd be in the NFL. And the way the season went for him, dealing with injuries, yes, struggles on the offensive line, he gets his fresh start, going to do the 1 year in Miami just like Cameron Ward did. I don't know where to place Carson Beck's expectations for this year with what he's going to do in Miami and what to think of him as a 2026 draft prospect.
Yeah, it's tough because you look at the draft and you see how many players Miami lost to not just the draft, undrafted free agents. And I'm not an expert of the transfer portal. You would probably know this better than I would. But have they been able to replace the Elijah Arroyos? Have they been able to replace the receivers on the outside? Even Damian Martinez, the running back, went to Seattle, who was cut and added back to the practice squad. Have they been able to replace those guys with sufficient talent to put him in the best position to succeed?
Well, they totally revamped that defense, and especially that secondary that struggled in a huge way last season. They play a Notre Dame team on Sunday night that breaks in a new quarterback in C.J. Carr. By the way, local ties, Kenny Minchie, who lost that backup job to C.J. Carr. To me, there's a scenario there where C.J. Carr struggles and Minchie gets thrown in, the Pope Prep product from here in Nashville. And speaking of Nashville ties, Ron Slay in the F&M Bank chat saying, pay attention to Isaiah Horton, the Miami transfer, now at Alabama, the product of Oakland High School, going at it one more time for his last college football season. It pains me to say this. I think Alabama is going to be an elite team this season. I think they are poised to get right back to that standard that we got used to. I think they're going to win the SEC. They were my pick preseason. And I think the offense is going to be what Kalen DeBoer intended it to be when he thought he had Ryan Grubb as his offensive coordinator last year, but then he got scooped up by the Seahawks, summarily fired by the Seahawks, and now back with Kalen DeBoer at Alabama for take 2. And again, I don't enjoy saying that, but I think this Alabama team is about to make a statement at Florida State.
So where would you say your confidence is with Ty Simpson then, as far as leading that team?
Ty Simpson is a guy he is taken this rare path nowadays in college football of 5-star guy who was recruited, I want to say in the class of 2022, because I remember doing Ty Simpson's state championship game for Westview High School in Chattanooga at the end of the 2021 high school football season, doing that game on the TSSAA network, and that was the storyline. Alabama commit Ty Simpson. Tennessee wanted him and didn't get him. 5-star player, great athlete, can make every throw. And you don't see that now. 5-star guy in the class of 2022 who's still at the place that recruited him and going into his first year as the starter in 2025. He's just kind of been around. He's gotten opportunities to go into games, has had his struggles. I think back to that struggling performance by Alabama at South Florida a couple years ago in Nick Saban's last year. But now it's his show. And I have confidence that Ty Simpson is going to be able to run the Kalen DeBoer offense with this sort of timing and rhythm that Jalen Milroe wasn't able to. What Milroe had was the crazy athletic upside where he could turn a game on its head by itself. We saw it in Georgia, in the Georgia game. We saw it at LSU when he had 1 million rush yards in that game. That's not going to be Ty Simpson this year, but I think he's going to keep this Alabama offense on track and get the ball to their playmakers, of which they have a ton. Now, Alabama's missing a couple key defensive starters in this Florida State game. But we can talk about that more later on because Coach Dave McGinnis is on deck. He'll join us coming up next, presented by Two Rivers Ford on 104.5 The Zone. Oh, love the sound of that music on a Friday. Coach Dave McGinnis of Titans Radio joins us, presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealers. We broadcast live from Yazoo Brewing in Madison. Coach Mack, happy Friday. How are you?
Hey, guys. Everything's good. Just getting ready to watch a lot of football this weekend and watching a little bit of the Denver Broncos getting set up for next week.
So, Coach Mack, how are you approaching this college football kickoff weekend? Are you sitting back, legs kicked up, taking in all the games, sprinkling in some Broncos tape? Do you have your eyes on any games in particular? How is Coach Mack absorbing this weekend?
Yeah, I'm going to watch all of them, but I'm looking forward to the Vols game. I'm really looking forward to that one. Of course, you know, the Texas-Ohio State, I know they're on different channels at different times, but I got plenty of TVs to watch it on. So, anywho, but I'm looking forward to the Tennessee game. I'll have the Tennessee game on, have the sound down on the television, and then listening to Mike Keith and Ramon Foster on the radio broadcast.
Oh, can't wait, Coach. Can't wait. 11 a.m. kickoff right here on the Vol Network, 104.5 The Zone. You can catch Mike and Ramon, the maiden voyage, as that Vol Network duo. Well, Coach, you know, sitting there getting ready for the show yesterday and settling in to watch Boise State USF, this big college football celebration. And then the Micah Parsons trade comes down, and the Cowboys ship him to Green Bay. 2 first-round draft picks and Kenny Clark, the compensation. Micah gets his contract, and he resets that market with the $188 million deal. What did you make of this trade and the fit with Micah Parsons now playing for the Green Bay Packers?
Well, it just seemed like they weren't going to get anything done as far as an extension in Dallas. That's what it was coming to. I don't know if you guys have watched that 8-part Netflix series on the Cowboys, but, I mean, it's pretty interesting. You know, there's been a few things that have gone on, you know, as far as the way that they handle their rosters. And it's been some successful, some not. But, you know, when you get into this kind of a situation, you know, as management, and you get to an impasse with a player, you know, sometimes it's better for both parties if you go, you know, different directions. People are going to grade the trade one way or the other. Doesn't really matter. If both sides agree to the deal and everybody seems happy, well, then you just move on, and that's what they've done.
Coach Dave McGinnis of Titans Radio, presented by Two Rivers Ford, with us on 104.5 The Zone.
Coach Mack, you graciously glossed over your team in college playing this weekend, taking on North Carolina's Bill Belichick this weekend. What's your level of optimism? Are you worried about the coach, or you think the Frogs have it well under control?
No, they don't. They don't have it under control. I mean, in my Mac Over America tour this summer, I stopped by Fort Worth. They really don't know. I don't think know what to expect, because it's hard to, you know, with all the number of transfer portal players that they have in there. Besides, you know, Bill Belichick taking over as a collegiate head coach for the first time. So I don't think either team really knows a whole lot, you know, what to expect, and that's really, you know, kind of the intrigue of week one in college football. You really don't know, because especially with the transfer portal and the NIL and everybody, you know, switching teams, you don't really know how anybody's going to be until they get out on the field, especially for the first couple of weeks. It'll be very interesting up there to see how the Frogs in North Carolina work through this one, because it's got intrigue just because of Bill Belichick's maiden voyage there as a collegiate head coach. And, of course, I'm always interested in watching the Frogs, but I have no idea how that'll turn out.
And while there's no NFL games this weekend, it doesn't mean teams aren't preparing. How is week one prep different from any other week, Coach?
Well, I mean, you really, you know, you think, you know, because you do a lot of, you have your people do a lot of work as far as your people that look ahead, not coaches and players, but your support staff that looks ahead, breaks everything down. But until you and really after the preseason, you really don't get a real perspective of what's going on with any team, just because you've got 91 guys that you're trying to get reps to. So it's different. The first week is a little bit of a mystery tour in the National Football League also. So, but I mean, this is when you really dive into your game planning. I mean, you can just tell. I mean, the atmosphere, even at practice, the last couple of days, you know, before they broke for the weekend, at the Titans is different. It's always different. It's always different all the years that I've done this. I mean, everything is just much more intense. And plus, it's a cliche to say it's for real because everything has its own cause and effect in the National Football League. But opening weekend is really, really important. And so the preparation is pretty deep, pretty intense. And if you've been around it long enough, you can just tell just the atmosphere to practice, getting ready for the first. It's a lot different, especially if you've got a team as young as what the Titans have. It's going to be a first for a lot of these guys up there in Denver. That's a pretty stiff test to start out with.
We're talking with Titans Radio's head coach, Dave McGinnis.
And we're hanging out at Yazoo Brewing Company in Madison. Come and see us. Coach Mack, Titans bring in 4 players claimed off the waiver wire this week, obviously signing Shy Tuttle on a 1-year deal as well. Just to start with Jalen Armour-Davis, Coach, the most in-demand player that was available on waivers in the NFL. 4 teams, including the Titans, that submitted a claim for the former Alabama cornerback, the 2022 draft pick by Baltimore. What do you remember about his draft profile coming out, as we're only 3 years removed from Armour-Davis coming into the league?
Yeah, I remember vetting him. I mean, he had really good, workout numbers. I mean, it's the athletic ability as far as just with all the numbers, and then you watch him play. There was is very, very evident, and clearly, I mean, injuries have probably had something to do with the fact that he was on the waiver wire. But these waiver wire pickups, I mean, they spend a lot of time, especially now, knowing that they have that number 1 claiming spot. They spent hours upon hours, with all of their support staff, looking through every team and seeing who was available. And I mean, when you make these kind of waiver claims, you're bringing some guys in and he's got some familiarity with Denard Wilson's defense and Denard Wilson himself, having worked with him there in Baltimore. So all of those things factor into it. You don't know how much immediate help those guys are going to be. Anytime you're talking about churning the bottom of your roster, you're talking about some depth and then hopefully some development as you put them on the active roster throughout the season. You don't know. I don't know how much you would activate someone that you pick up that quick on a waiver wire for the early part of the season. But that's what you do. You take somebody and you try to develop them, incorporate them into what you're doing. So he's a good athlete. He's had some hiccups with some injuries, and so we'll see how it works. But you're not counting on those kind of guys early on, very early in the season, just because they haven't been with you.
Well, you mentioned that familiarity, Coach, with Denard Wilson and Jalen Armour-Davis. Shy Tuttle has some of that too, right? With Tracy Rocker, who was his D-line coach at Tennessee for the last 2 years that Shy was in Knoxville. Just what is the benefit of already having that sort of common ground with your position coach, not having to go through that acclimation process of getting to know somebody? How much does that kind of put them ahead of the curve as they get their feet under them ahead of week 1?
Yeah, well, that familiarity, both from a coach to a player to a coach is important, and especially when you're bringing somebody in, after they've been through, training camp somewhere else, after they've been with, and they come in, at least you've got a common ground to start with. So it helps. It helps some. It really does. But what you need for them to get assimilated into what you are doing, pretty quickly. But that familiarity, it helps some. It really does on both ends of it.
Coach Dave McGinnis, the Titans Radio with us, presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Coach, you noted the waiver claim players. You wouldn't expect them to contribute early on, but when would you expect them to contribute? JAD was noted by his former defensive coordinator, Zach Orr, as one of the smartest people in the DB room. Smart doesn't mean anything if you can't do it on the field. How long do you think it'll be before these guys are expected to contribute?
No, that's up to the individual player. I mean, there's no one-size-fits-all on that kind of thing, Bert. I mean, it depends on, where the player is, how fast he can assimilate into what's going on. And then it also depends on what goes on in front of him. I mean, there's a myriad of things that can happen with whatever the roster looks like in front of him. But there is no, as I said, there's no magical formula for however, but there is some prospect there or you wouldn't have picked them up.
100%. Coach, Buck is not here to keep me on topic, so I wanted to ask you something
you don't need Buck.
We have it in express written consent from Coach now. I wanted to ask you something I'm interested in.
That's a drop, by the way.
In the 2003 draft, the Arizona Cardinals had the 6th overall pick. You ended up trading with the New Orleans Saints to move back. I'm interested, while you're in Arizona, there was a prospect at Arizona State in Terrell Suggs. I'm wondering what you remember about that. He had a poor combine result, but I'm wondering if you guys were interested in him, why you saw him falling, what you remember about that draft and the trade
No, we
scenario.
absolutely. I mean, Joe Green and I really wanted him very badly. I mean, that the answer is, I mean, in that draft, if they would have let us or let me draft who I wanted to, it'd have been Suggs and then Anquan Boldin in that draft. That'd been a pretty good draft.
That wouldn't have been bad. Talking to Coach Dave McGinnis, presented by Two Rivers Ford, the most trusted Ford dealer in all of the South.
Speaking of Mean Joe Green, Coach, I am curious, with all of the talk about Micah Parsons and the kind of player that he is, the unique talent that he is currently in the NFL, for you, who is the best player, whether you coach them or were around them, at affecting the quarterback that you've ever seen with your two eyes in the NFL?
Richard Dent.
Oh.
I mean, you talk about somebody that could just single-handedly take a ball game over from the edge when you needed it. Richard Dent, and that's verified by the fact that he's in the Hall of Fame. He was a Super Bowl MVP for a defensive end. That's pretty salty, but I've seen the Colonel completely wreck offenses when we really needed it done. So, of who I've been around, and I've had Richard Dent, I had Simeon Rice, I've been here with Javon Curse, but Richard Dent was a dude that the people that were playing against him, they were really bothered by him.
You are getting some very approving nods in here at Yazoo Brewing, Coach, from Kirby Allen Kirby included. Last thing for you, Coach Mack.
As long as Kirby thinks I know what I'm talking about.
No, it is stamped Kirby approved. Coach, tomorrow...
You've got Kirby there to verify things. You don't need Buck.
Well, you're right about that. And we haven't even gotten Kirby's thoughts on the Micah Parsons trade, which we absolutely need to do here in a few seconds. Coach Mack, Lee Corso will have his final show on College Game Day tomorrow. I don't think I am prepared for that moment and the influence that he has been on the sport of college football. I just bring this up because, if I'm not mistaken, Coach, you were on staff at Indiana State while Corso was the head coach at Indiana, right? Did you ever have any sort of run-ins with Lee Corso in your career?
No, I mean we didn't play them. Of course, I was very aware of it. Lee Corso has left his mark, on the collegiate game. Both as a coach and then of course clearly, I mean, he's become iconic in the broadcast world. And I think you have someone like that that's done it for so long, and I mean he absolutely loves college football, and you could tell. And then the relationship that he and Kirk Herbstreit had and still have, I mean that was very special to watch. All the years, and it became must-watch TV to see what head he was going to put on at the end of the broadcast to see who he was picking in the marquee game. So, I mean, he deserves all of those accolades, and God bless him. I really do give his whole crew, especially in these last few years where he's had some health problems. They've really done a really commendable job of honoring him. They really have.
Yeah, no doubt about that, and he'll close it out back where it all began. The first ever headgear pick was in Columbus, Ohio, and the last one will be in Columbus, Ohio tomorrow. Coach Mack, always appreciate you. Enjoy the college football weekend, and looking forward to getting back at it next week with Week 1.
Love you, Mac.
Appreciate both of you. See you.
See you, Coach. Coach Dave McGinnis is presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. He didn't hear you, buddy. He didn't hear you.
I hope he did.
Coach Mack, who shares a birthday with Lee Corso, by the way.
When did we figure that out?
Because it was recent. Lee just turned 90, so he's definitely got some years on Coach Mack. But I'm telling you, man, I'm not prepared for the celebration that will be just laid out on Saturday for Lee Corso. I'm going to be up watching the start of College Game Day at 8 a.m. That last feature, the Kirk Herbstreit, and
he's going to be bawling his eyes out. He's going to be bawling his eyes out.
I think I'm going to be a wreck. Like, when you think about an institution, like the idea that a kid that's a freshman in high school right now, that in 10 years, Lee Corso is just going to be, oh, yeah, that guy that did the headgear on stuff on game day when I was in middle school, right? Like, it's almost unfathomable to me for him not to be just a fundamental part of every single human's college football experience. I mean, he has been that every day that I've been alive so far. Every game day that I've been alive for, Lee Corso has been front and center, arguably the most influential person in the college football world of people's lives for the last, what is it now? I think 93 is when College Game Day started going out to campuses, and what a run. So not prepared for that. What I'm also not prepared for is Kirby Allen Kirby's reaction to the Micah Parsons trade. We'd be remiss, Kirby, not to get your thoughts as a Dallas Cowboys fan on everything that transpired, not just yesterday with the trade, but all offseason. Jerry Jones trying to work behind the back of David Mulugeta, trying to get the deal done with Micah, not involving the guy that Micah literally employs to get these things done. And here we are with Micah Parsons making $47 million a year, and he's doing it in Green Bay and not in Dallas. Kirby, your thoughts?
Oh, God, you don't want my thoughts.
Yeah, I do want your thoughts.
Jerry continues to be haunted by a man that he fired over 30 years ago who took them to prominence. And the moment that Jimmy Johnson's team started to fade into different spots and retire, and they've come close once since then. Once. He's fired two of the best coaches in the NFL. He fired Jimmy Johnson and he fired Bill Parcells. And I got news for him. This wasn't the Herschel Walker trade, and he has yet again wet the damn bed in Dallas.
And he tried to bring up the Walker trade.
Oh, yeah, he does. Because he so wants to be the engineer that made it all. That was all Jimmy Johnson. Back when Jimmy's contract, he had full control, and that's what drove Jerry into the insane madman that he is today. Continues to motivate him to upstage someone that hasn't been in Dallas in years or in decades. And I don't know that if Steven has the answer or not, but until he takes control, they're going to continue to just be the butt of jokes. It's been since 1995 since they were viable. I mean, we had the couple of years there under Purcell's that they were close. The year with Des Bryant and the bogus call up in Green Bay, but oh yeah, of course he did. But yeah, Jerry is just a joke. And I cringe every time I see him. It's like listening to Joe Biden talking with a Texas accent about a football team that he doesn't own.
They're about the same age, too.
Oh, they're exactly the same person right now.
Kirby Allen Kirby and his thoughts on Jerry Jones and the Micah Parsons trade. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in, because we have a chance to win 2 tickets to Dollywood. Dollywood.
Can we make it 4 so we can go? I haven't been since I was a kid.
The man in charge of those things is right here in attendance. Maybe we'll talk to him. All you got to do is give us your moment of positivity, your Friday fire, the thing that made you smile. It can be in sports. It can be in life. Give us your Friday fire, 615-737-1045. The best submission will get 2 tickets to Dollywood. Friday Fire's next. 615-737-1045. 2 tickets to Dollywood. On the line, all you got to do is call in with something that made you smile. Your moment of positivity this week. Buck's not here, so we don't necessarily need help being positive, but we're going to do it anyway. Robert Walsh, Lucas Panzica with you until 1 o'clock. We are live from Yazoo Brewing Company in Madison, thanks to Porch Factory and Logo Brands, Cover 2, and 3HL all coming up. Mark Mariani, Kevin Dyson will be hanging out with Brent on 3HL today. So come by, hang out with some Titans legends. Brett Kern will be with us in the noon hour, and you can sign up for your chance to win Tennessee football tickets, Volunteer Traditions merch, free T-shirts, free glasses, and this 6-pack of pregame Pilsner, courtesy of Yazoo Brewing. So come and hang out with us. We're having a great time out here in Madison. 615-737-1045. Robert Walsh, my moment of positivity is, it's college football kickoff weekend. It's a beautiful thing watching South Florida take Alex Golish's offense to the temple of Boise State's playoff hopes. Dashed. The Broncos are done, and USF is on the scene as a G5 contender to get into the playoff. But that's not my submission.
Is it their running back?
What's that?
USF's running back? What an incredible Marshawn Lynch
that was their quarterback.
Oh, I thought that was the running back.
That was the quarterback. And it got called back due to penalty. But no, that angry run is not my moment of positivity, although that was awesome. Cracker Barrel, who tried to change their logo this week into the most plain, watered-down, minimalist, corporate thing that honestly kind of, no offense to Joseph Bonanno, matches up with the decline of Cracker Barrel in recent times. Now, if Cracker Barrel wants to sponsor the show, then I'll consider them the greatest restaurant in the Middle Tennessee area. But the Cracker Barrel logo being rolled out there, and then the response. We were talking about Shiano Sunday earlier.
They got rid of the cracker and the barrel.
That's right. Uncle Herschel, gone. The rocking chair, gone. The entire world Shiano Sunday'd Cracker Barrel and literally bullied them into restoring the old logo. If the food's going to get worse, the logo can't get worse too. Keep it, and they did. The entire world forcing Cracker Barrel to go back on their rollout of their new logo is what made me smile in my Friday Fire.
Ooh, that would be a great Candles. Early 2000 Cracker Barrel eating area where they had the fireplace going, the checkers out. Now if you go in there, it's so cleansed of anything the fireplace is not lit, the checkers are not out, and the barrel is not crackered. I will not be going. The food is terrible. Like Lucas said, unless you want to sponsor us, and then I will change my opinion.
Then it's the best grilled chicken tenders I've ever had.
Lucas, what do I say about our studios in downtown Nashville all the time? I say we need an office cat. We need a cat that lives in here to keep the vermin away, to keep morale high.
You always say that.
If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Well, someone is listening because Bowling Green is within our listening area. Are you aware that Bowling Green has a locker room cat?
Oh, wait, hold on. Bowling Green.
That scared the hell out of me.
Are you talking about Bowling Green, the city in Kentucky, or Bowling Green, the university in Ohio, where Eddie George is the head coach?
Oh, I just had a Buck moment, didn't I?
That's okay. No, I mean, if you're talking about the program.
Yes, I'm talking about the program.
Okay, that is very much not in our listening area.
But, well, they could be listening on Zone TV
But
right
Eddie
now.
George is the head coach.
Okay, well, whatever. Thank you for making me look a little dumb there. That's okay. They have a locker room cat, a short-haired, exotic orange cat named Pudge, who hangs out in the locker room. And
look at this thing.
The bigger part of this, oh, my God. Lucas pulled up a picture of them hoisting Pudge into the air like Lion King. Holding it is a massive cat. Even more impressive, Eddie George is allergic to cats, and he is allowing this cat to live in their locker room. He just finds a random locker, posts up, and if he decides that's where he sits and he fits, that's where he's staying. It is no longer your locker room. I love this so much. Bowling Green, I don't know what you're in contention for, but you're going to win it, damn it. And that is my Friday Fire. Anyone who has a work cat, a locker room cat, feeds outside cats, that's Friday Fire. Big fan of that.
Front Office Sports saying that after a Bowling Green football player suffered an injury at practice, a player brought a cat to the stadium to boost morale. They named him Pudge, and now he has his own jersey and locker.
The only problem is he does not like to stay in his locker. He likes to occupy anyone else's locker that needs to stay there.
He has free roam.
I'm a big fan of Pudge.
This is awesome.
Big fan of Pudge.
Shout out to Eddie George's football program up there. Now, Brett Kern will be here with us. He is famously a Toledo Rocket. That is, for those who don't know, a major rivalry in the MAC. So much so to where Toledo has a rocket on campus that is literally positioned to where if it were a live rocket to be launched, it would land at the 50-yard line of Bowling Green's football stadium. I mean,
no way.
Yeah, seriously.
That's awesome.
It's like a 45-minute drive between the two schools. I pass Bowling Green Stadium every time I'm driving to Toledo to go see Megan. So it's a great rivalry. And I look forward to hearing Brett Kern's thoughts, but that's amazing. Pudge the Cat is a great Friday Fire.
So do I win the tickets to Dollywood?
Well, let's see what the people got. 615-737-1045 is how you give your submission for a chance to win 2 tickets to Dollywood. Let's start with Bob up first. Hey, Bob.
Is this uncle or just regular?
Just regular.
Okay, just regular, Bob.
What you got, Bob?
Just regular, Bob. Hey, so my Friday Fire is actually going to take place on Sunday, and this is right in Don Davenport's wheelhouse. Women's college volleyball is on fire. Downtown Nashville is always on fire. The two come together this Sunday with 3 matches. You got number 1 Nebraska versus Kentucky, Purdue versus Tennessee, and Illinois taking on Vanderbilt. It is going to be lit.
Yeah, that's a good submission. I believe they're calling it a block party weekend, if I'm not mistaken. Nebraska, a volleyball powerhouse that literally filled the football stadium for a volleyball match once. Tennessee, Vanderbilt. So, Bob, that is a good submission by you. 615. Stay on the line, by the way, for your chance to win the tickets. If you drop off, then we can't get in touch with you to let you know that you won.
And we'll keep them.
615-737-1045. Brandon is up next. Hey, Brandon.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. Guys, football season is back. That is my Friday Fire. Football season is back. Listen, everyone. We're going to have good times. We're going to have bad times. But guess what? We're going to do it together. You know why? Because football is the great unifier. And it's back, everyone. Go Vols.
Oh, Brandon.
Love that.
That's doing something to me. Thank you.
Big Cat on PFT this week had a whole monologue about how you only get so many football weekends in your life. You only get so many football seasons in your life. I feel like when we were kids, you didn't appreciate it as much. You didn't recognize that, like, whole years could go by, and those are recognized as eras. Like, we are living in this era right now. It's a special thing. It's a heartwarming thing.
You only get to see your team. You're guaranteed 12. 12 every year. Cherish them. Thank you, Brandon. Stay on the line in case you are the winner. Heather is up next for her Friday Fire. Hey, Heather.
Hey, y'all. Good afternoon. All right, so we're going to start this out. This may not be a popular opinion here in Middle Tennessee, but I got to say it because I've been waiting all year to say this, y'all. Roll Tide!
Oh, no, Heather. I hate it, but I respect it. Oh, you're not going to win the tickets, though. But thank you. Thank you for the call, Heather, with her Friday Fire. Stay on the line if you want for your chance to win.
She spelled it right.
Oh, she did. And that y'all hit hard off the top. I have to respect that.
So when the y'all came out, I was like, Heather's winning. And then she brought out Roll Tide. And I was like, I don't know if I can outvote Locust here.
Isn't it funny how Buck leaves and the callers just get substantially better? Joe is up next. Hey, Joe.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. What you got?
You did say it didn't have to be sports-wise.
Anything. I had Cracker Barrel.
A number of months ago, my wife was diagnosed with breast cancer. She's been through treatments, and this past week, we got the word she's now cancer-free.
Oh, hey! That's awesome. Joe, you got everybody at Yazoo Brewing in Madison applauding. That's fantastic.
What's your wife's name, Joe?
Yvonne.
Yvonne.
Wow.
Congratulations to Yvonne.
Happy for you guys. Happy for Yvonne. Congratulations. That is incredible. And I mean, how do you beat that?
That's going to be tough to beat.
How do you beat that? Let's go to Corey. Last one we have time for. Corey, I don't know how you're going to top it, bud, but we'll give you a shot.
Let's go to
Corey knew he couldn't stand Yvonne. He knew they wasn't going to beat that.
Who you got, Jayhawk?
Let's go to Steven.
All right, Steven.
Hello, this is Steven.
Yeah, what you got?
Hello, Steven. This is Robert.
Yeah, my granddaughter turned 2 years old this weekend, and this week she learned her ABCs. I know it's not sports related, but
no, that's great.
That's still good.
she's not even 2 years old, and she knows her ABCs.
That's impressive.
That's great. Only 23 letters to go. Heck
impressive
yeah.
Thanks for the call, Stephen. Oh, that's fantastic. Congratulations, Stephen. That's awesome. Man, what? I mean, that might be the best Friday Fire segment of callers we've ever had.
It's a full clip, too. All of them
I mean, it's a good prize. 2 tickets to Dollywood. We appreciate the calls, but Joe absolutely is getting the tickets. Joe, I hope you get the chance to take Yvonne, who has just beaten breast cancer, to the curb. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. Brett Kern is hanging out. He's in the house, and we're going to talk some Titans, talk some college football with the former Titans punter as we broadcast live from Yazoo Brewing in Madison. Hour 3 next on 104.5 The Zone.
It is 12:01. Good afternoon, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. A blockbuster trade went down the NFL yesterday as the Dallas Cowboys traded All-Pro defensive end Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers for 2 first-round picks and defensive lineman Kenny Clark. Parsons and the Packers agreed then to a 4-year, $188 million extension, including $136 million guaranteed. Parsons now becomes the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history at $47 million per year. Tomorrow, a new era in Tennessee football begins as Mike Keith and Ramon Foster with their first broadcast on Fall Network as the Tennessee Vols take on the Syracuse Orange at 11 a.m. in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium for Week 1. You can hear the broadcast right here on 104.5 The Zone, and it all gets started right around 8:30. Also, the Vanderbilt Commodores and quarterback Diego Pavia kick off their season tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Central on SEC Network as they take on Charleston Southern at First Bank Stadium here in Nashville. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Hour 3 off and running. It means one step closer to your jam-packed college football weekend, which kicked off yesterday with some good games, and we're here to talk about all of it. Lucas Panzica, Robert Walsh hanging out until 1 o'clock. Former Titans punter Brett Kern is in the house. Yazoo Brewing Company in Madison. We're here thanks to Porch Factory and Logo Brands. We've got some giveaways to tell you about, but Brett, what's up, man? Appreciate you coming out.
What's going on? First time up here.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
It's a good spot, spacious, smells great in here. So I'm going to be partaking in some food once I'm done.
Smells like beer and burgers. Grill Shack is here. A great view on the patio.
Yep. Oh, I thought he was just complimenting me.
You also smell like beer and burgers most of the time.
I'm pickle in the middle right here between you two guys.
What a rock and a hard place spot you chose.
Man.
Speaking of what we're doing out here, real quick, we've got giveaways at the top of every hour. All you got to do is swing by. You scan the QR code at the front, and that automatically submits you with a chance to win Tennessee football tickets, Volunteer Traditions merch, Volunteer Traditions. By the way, the best in the business. They dropped some stuff off earlier today before the show, and I can't wait to sport it during football season. The best Vols apparel on the market, high-quality material, timeless designs, classic logo, standout details, alumni-owned, that started on campus just under 2 decades ago. So you scan the QR code, you enter for a chance to win. The grand prize is later at 6, Tennessee football season tickets. You don't have to be here to win. You do have to be here to enter for your chance to win. And quickly, we're going to announce our 12 p.m. winner for a Tennessee hat and a gift card from Volunteer Traditions. The winner is Amanda McFadden. Do we have an Amanda McFadden at Yazoo Brewing, or is she driving around? There she is.
Amanda!
Shout out, Amanda.
Get off the phone. They don't love you. They ain't giving you nothing.
Amanda McFadden gets a Tennessee hat and a gift card from Volunteer Traditions. The giveaway at 1 will be Tennessee UAB tickets. And more to come. So we're out here, cover 2, 3HL, all hanging out. Come see us out in Madison at Yazoo Brewing. Okay, Brett Kern.
Yeah.
Micah Parsons.
That's a very well done job there, and your font on your computer is super small.
Oh,
you got eagle eyes.
It gets a 0.5 bigger every year. So check with me in 10 years. Kirby's texts are
Kirby's texts are in 20 font.
I mean, there's only room for like 3 letters to take up the screen at a time.
He said he can. Wait, I scrolled. He can't.
615-737-1045, by the way, is how you jump in to hang out. We are on 104.5 The Zone TV as well, the F&M Bank chat. Micah Parsons to Green Bay finally ends this long saga. What'd you make of that yesterday?
I was actually driving back from the golf thing that I was at, and I was in the car with Brian Suckup for 6.5 hours. And that actually happened about 2 hours into our trip. So we were able to talk about that for a little bit together and just kind of process somebody of that talent. On pace, Reggie White type pace with sacks, even missing 4 games last year with an ankle sprain. What he's been able to do. So I know the generational word is thrown out a lot, which is a word that's not it's overused, I think. But I think Micah definitely could be under that category, and so to let him go in a trade, obviously there's some words said, there's some things done. Obviously Jerry has a history of that, but some things were done, and I think Micah to me, honestly, if it was all about the money for Micah, you're going to stay in Dallas, no state income tax, the opportunity to make money in Dallas just through endorsements and stuff like that, and then to go up to Green Bay, probably take a little bit less, shows what kind of guy he is. So obviously there were some words said, some things done where he probably felt a little disrespected. And, obviously he goes up to Dallas. And I think from Jerry's side, I think from an economic standpoint, when you're looking at, they have Dak, Steele, their right tackle, CeeDee Lamb, that's $83 million in cap. And all of a sudden you add Micah, who's, I'm not sure if the exact details are out there, but if you say $45 million, that's $128 million in cap, and that's 48% of your cap. So I think from an economic standpoint, Jerry's thinking, all right, this is going to be tough to let him go, but if I can get 4 first-round picks for cheaper than what, Micah would cost and try to build my team that way, every team kind of runs into that. I remember the Chiefs ran into that when they had Mahomes, Chris Jones. They had another D tackle. I'm trying to remember who, but he was high paid. And then the whole Tyreek conversation, like, can you pay these 4 guys? And at that time, those 3 guys were, I think 45% of the cap. And so that's difficult to have that many high-end caliber players. The NBA kind of runs into it. You get, 3 kind of max players. At some point, you can't pay everybody what they're deserved. And there you go. There's the trade.
To me, it's kind of like if you're in a big family, a lot of kids, and the oldest kid goes to college. What are the other kids thinking? Like, oh, you left me here with this mean mom and dad. What do you think's going on in that Cowboys locker room for the players? Like, you see a high-profile player like that get traded. If they didn't care about him, why are they going to care about me?
Yeah, I think that'd be tough knowing, like, if you're a first-round pick and you're of a high talent, for you to be able to get the next contract. It's going to be difficult, and understanding kind of what Micah went through. And I know there's been some other players that have gone through just kind of Jerry's tactics of trying to get deals done. That's tough. So I think that's frustrating for players to see that. Like, if you're not going to take care of Micah, yes, they've seen it with Dak, they've seen it with CD and some other guys, but if you're not going to take care of a guy like Micah and his production that he's had early in his career, that's maybe not red flags, but maybe orange, yellow type color flags.
Right.
It can affect the locker room pretty hard, because guys talk about it. They talk about it at lunch. They talk about it all the time of, man, can you just believe what happened? So,
and Jerry was asked exactly that. I mean, how do you expect players in your building to look at what Micah did over 4 years and to not get rewarded in that way at the place that he wants to be and the place that drafted him? What would you say to those players? And his response was, I'd tell him to talk to Dak. So that's what you're dealing with.
Don't talk to your agent. Don't talk to me.
Nope.
It'll be a book someday.
No doubt.
All the testimonials of, the stories of trying to get a contract done with Jerry Jones.
Well, there's a docuseries out there, and I'm sure Cowboy fans love seeing that paraded around while he trades away their most valuable asset.
It doesn't happen often.
No.
I mean, there's not many times where a guy of Micah's caliber becomes available. And I honestly think I was surprised that Green Bay, they sent a player away, Kenny, but, 2 first-round picks. I thought there could have been a little bit more. So I think Green Bay's probably thinking, all right, we'll take this guy for 4 years, $188 million, and build. And they still have Rashawn Gary. I thought maybe he was going to be in the mix, too, with that trade. But now those 2 guys, I mean, my goodness.
Well, they're going to gear up for a Super Bowl run week 1 next weekend. Do you wish that – I know you – towards the tail end of your careers when we moved to 3 preseason games, 17 regular season games. Did you enjoy getting that little that bye week between preseason and regular season when that came around?
That was nice. The 4 preseason games felt a lot, especially because knowing that 4th preseason game, I think everybody played on that Thursday, and then you kind of got that mini weekend off, and then you were going right to it. So from one standpoint, I didn't mind it just because I felt like I was still in a rhythm. Like, you could take those 4 preseason games, you get, Friday, a little bit of Friday off, but then you definitely got Saturday, Sunday off, and then bam, you're right back into it, and you're still in your routine. When they went to 3, it was nice to get that break, like the bye week. But there were times where I felt like, I was in a good rhythm through training camp. I was in a good rhythm, in the preseason games, and now here we are through a bye week. And I even during the season, depending on when our bye week fell, there were some times where, if you have an early bye week, like that week 4, week 5, you get off to a good start to the season, and then here you are with your bye week. You just kind of wanted to keep going because the rhythm that you were in, you felt good. But, I'm sure every player would be different of what they would like as far as 4 games, 3 games. And also, 4 games was great too because you gave a lot of these guys that got cut just another opportunity to get some more film and to be able to play. But I can understand why they went to 3 because they wanted that extra regular season game. It's all about the dollars.
And it'll be 2 at some point.
It'll be 2.
Titans legend Brett Kern hanging out with us at Yazoo Brewing in Madison.
And I don't know if you got to take in the games last night, but ECU took on NC State, and there was a pretty ballsy call on 4th down. ECU calls a fake punt on their own 19, connects to convert. What goes into making a decision like that, and how nervous are you as a punter knowing that everyone is going to no one may know my name right now, but if I mess this up, everyone is going to loathe
By the
me.
way, USF had a crazy one too.
Yeah, I mean, this is the time you want to put something on film, fake punts, not necessarily fake field goals. Those are a lot harder to execute. But, you throw something out there early on film, and that gets teams to kind of back away and maybe not rush as much. And college is totally different, from a special team standpoint than the NFL. But, we actually, my freshman year at Toledo, we called a fake punt on our own 20-yard line. And we did the shield. So I had 3 offensive linemen in front of me, and 2 of them played in the NFL. One played for 7 years, the other one played for 10.
Wow.
So I felt pretty confident about this fake, and it was about 4th and 5. So I go trotting out there, really can't feel my legs because I'm thinking I can't believe we're doing this.
You're 18 years old.
Yeah. And so it was literally I just caught the ball and I just followed these guys straight up the middle. And I got to about the line of scrimmage, and then all of a sudden I just started falling straight down because the guy came by and swiped my legs. One of the offensive linemen didn't think he was going to be able to make the tackle. And he also has to know the personnel that's behind him running the ball. Like, this is not the starting running back running. Like, you need to take care of this guy. This is the MDN. This is the most dangerous man at the time. And so he swiped my shoelaces, and I looked super unathletic on film. I tried to, gather my balance. I hit. Maybe it was like a 2-yard gain, and it's pretty embarrassing.
How many times do they make you watch that? It's like, you see.
I watched it once in the team meeting room, and then he kept, the special teams coach kept rewinding it, and I just closed my eyes. I'm like, I can't watch this anymore.
Who are y'all playing?
Can't watch this. It was a MAC opponent. I'm trying to think. It might have been Kent State.
Did y'all lose that game?
No, we won.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were a good team. Our defense was really solid. We held them to a field goal, and then we came back out, and we scored. So. I think we beat them pretty good. And it was Kent State. They weren't a MAC powerhouse, and so we were able to overcome that turnover, change of downs in the almost the red zone. So,
well, the Titans have made their punt returner official for the 2025 season, and we've got Brett Kern hanging out at Yazoo Brewing to talk about it. We'll get into that and some pick'em for the college football weekend. Coming up next on 104.5 The Zone. Welcome back. We are broadcasting live from Yazoo Brewing in Madison, and this place is filling out nicely. Plenty of folks enjoying a burger from Grill Shack, a pregame Pilsner, and just that general vibe of college football in the air. Week 1, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We've got games to talk about, and we're going to pick them as we're hanging out with Titans legend Brett Kern out here at Yazoo. Lucas Panzica, Robert Walsh with you. Cover 2, 3HL, all coming up. We have prizes, giveaways, season tickets for Tennessee football on the line. All you got to do is show up for your chance to win. Titans just dropped a media advisory that on Monday, Brian Callahan will meet with the media at 11 a.m. before practice. So we'll have that live for you. There won't be a question of who this team's starting punt returner will be because Mike Borgonzi answered that yesterday.
Yeah.
Long battle in preseason. James Prochet had largely been that guy. Jaquan Jackson in the mix as well. He's cut loose this week. And then yesterday, Mike Borgonzi, meeting with Titans media, was asked about Chimere Dike, the fourth-round pick, rookie out of Florida, and if he is this team's starting punt returner, and this is what the GM had to say.
So Chim will be back there. That's really one of the reasons why we drafted Chim, because of his return ability too. And he's done a nice job out here in practice, so Chim will be out there.
So
that's straight to the point. There you go.
That's Mike Borgonzi. But what do you make of that? Because to be honest, Brett, he didn't really get out there to return punts until that final preseason game.
Right.
He had to fair catch basically all of them.
Yeah.
And even over a week ago, you had John Fossil talking about seniority with these guys. And how he wants the young guys to really have to earn their way into that role.
Right.
What did you make of that, obviously, being a part of that world for so many years?
I think that's probably why I leaned towards Prochet, just with the seniority and experience after kind of what happened last year. But, understanding, too, that somebody like Mason Kinsey, Prochet, they're on the practice squad. And so, if something does happen, they're there, right? But I think, kind of a motto in the NFL is the more you can do, right? And I think with DK, the fact that, playing receiver and the ability to, return punts, catch punts, sure hands. And I know for sure, Matt Thompson over there at St. Thomas, he's firing off those jugs, if not every day, every other day, punts, obviously getting punts from Hecker. So those guys are getting a lot of reps. Who looks natural at catching the ball, proper technique, who looks comfortable back there. And DK, he had 26 returns for 300 yards in college, which is 11.5, right? And your goal as a punt return unit is to try to get a first down. First, you want to catch the ball and maintain possession. But then, obviously, if you can get a first down every clip, that's what you're doing great. And, the Titans last year, I think, were about 7.5, which put them in the bottom half of the league. And so if you can send somebody out there where you necessarily don't have to dress an extra receiver, DK dressing, and he can do punt returns, that saves you a roster spot as far as dressing on the 48 on Sundays. So, the more you can do, if that's something that he can do and be effective at and try to average, that 10 per, little over 10 yards per return for that first down, that's huge. So not surprising. We'll just kind of see how it goes to start the year.
And he'll also be needed on kickoffs because if you'll remember the depth chart they put out earlier said Jaquan Jackson would be the kickoff return specialist. But with new return rules, it is a split field return where you have to have two returners back there.
Right.
I don't know who that other returner is.
Chestnut's done it.
Yeah.
I think Io Manor took a rep or two as kickoff returner in the preseason, if I'm not mistaken.
And Prochet could be a game day elevation as well.
Right. If you're in the practice squad, you can get 4 weeks of elevation before you have to make a roster decision to either keep them up on the roster or you can obviously have to release them. So, they can obviously kind of tinker with that a little bit. But, like I said, the last thing you want to do is have one guy just dress for punt returns. You want this guy to just do kickoff returns. All of a sudden, your roster with dressing guys, you got to take away from somewhere else. So does that mean you're not going to dress an offensive lineman? Are you not going to dress a DB? And so I think, if DK can be back there as the primary kick returner and punt returner, and that's really a position now where it's like, hey, if you can have a receiver back there or a running back, because it's really more of an offensive running style type play with the new kickoff rules. So it's very condensed. So, you need to win with speed, to get through some holes, but you also need to be able to get out of a phone booth because it can get pretty tight. So I'm excited to kind of see what he can do. Somebody fresh and new back there and see how it goes.
And they have been readjusted from the initial year where at first if the ball went out of the back of the end zone, it was at the 30, and now I believe it is the 35.
35, yeah. So that's pretty big too. And I think if it lands in the box, that landing zone, and it goes into the end zone, I think then you actually only start at the 20.
Oh, okay.
So that happened to the Titans in the preseason. I can't remember what game or what kickoff it was, but I think if it lands in there and you let it roll through and you take a knee in the end zone, I think it only goes to the 20. I'd have to double check that. Fact check that.
Well, you set me up perfectly for my next question, because Joey Sly can be thought of as at least I do, as a uninformed watcher of kickers. I think of him as a power kicker. He has a ton of power. How could that affect his game of being a power kicker, where now kickoffs are more of a precision game?
Yeah, I think watching him do kickoffs in preseason, he had his fair amount of touchbacks, but he's only taking his field goal steps. You have some guys, they can go back 9 yards, 6 yards over. There's different types of steps that guys take just to help them control the ball and where they want to go. And so Joey, he's taking his field goal steps. And so for him, obviously it's not full power. It's more placement. You got two guys back there. If they're showing on film, they do a lot of bounce returns, right return, whatever Bones has been scouting and stuff like that. You can start to dink and dunk, if somebody's going against the Titans and they don't want to kick the DK, right? You're gonna be able to have the accuracy to dink it over to the other guy. So, Joey's seen him do his field goal steps. He's working on his placements. I've seen some guys, over the preseason, they're really trying to, tuck guys and put it in uncomfortable situations. I even saw, I'm trying to remember who exactly it was, but almost hit like a missile type liner type punt. So it was extremely hard to catch. And it was one of those where if he couldn't catch it, it was going to go in the end zone, and that would only be to the 20-yard line. So now what you kind of saw on punts, when we were talking about with Hecker, all the different types of tools that he has in his tool bag to make it harder to catch a punt, now some of these guys are starting to figure out, okay, if I can do this on a kickoff with these new rules, hey, if we can make it hard for these guys to catch and it throws off the timing of the blocks, and even if it lands in that end zone or the landing zone, it goes into the end zone, now they're getting it at the 20 instead of the 35. You're going to start to see some guys experiment with some things, and that'll be interesting to watch.
We are out here at Yazoo Brewing in Madison. We've got giveaways. Come by, enter for your chance to win Tennessee football season tickets, single game tickets, Volunteer Traditions merch, and much more. Enjoy this pregame Pilsner as well as Grill Shack out here, burgers and wings. And there's a great crowd forming out here to celebrate the college football kickoff weekend. So we are going to pick the opening weekend, the biggest games of the college football slate. But I do want to ask you, because I'm legitimately curious, before we pivot to that, on Chimray DK, what is the biggest adjustment for a punt returner going from the college game to the pro game? Is it simply that how much higher the ball, the velocity with which the ball's coming down, the coverage? Like, what's the biggest adjustment he will have to make?
I think in college, just what the rules are, where once the ball's snapped, everybody can release downfield. And so I think what that creates is a lot more fair catches. And so I think there's a tendency in college to just kind of throw up the fair catch, wave the hand pretty early in the punt, just because there's so many guys coming down pretty quickly. In the pros, once the ball's snapped, your gunners are the only guys that can release downfield, and everybody has to wait. You get a 2-yard window past the line of scrimmage to release, but everybody has to wait till the ball's kicked. And so the ball's usually in the air a little bit longer. There's a little bit better directional punting. And so the wanting to just throw up the fair catch hand just doesn't happen as much in the NFL. And so I think him being able to adjust, with higher punts, a little bit longer punts, directional punts, and understanding when to throw that hand up, but also understanding too, when he can take chances. And so I think it's just going to be a feel thing, a rhythm thing for him. Because I think the last thing you want is for him to go out there and have these returnable balls, and he's just kind of accustomed to, maybe just throwing up the hand pretty quick. I think that's just what's more common in college. So we'll see, first couple of games how it goes. But I think, working with Johnny, with him receiving punts from Johnny and all the things that Johnny has in his tool bag, he's going to get used to a lot of different types of kicks and how Johnny kicks. And I think that'll be a good experience for him getting ready for the season.
All right, we'll see how that looks. Week 1 at Mile High Stadium. But we've got football this weekend that is at the college level, and we can't wait for it. Games tonight, Auburn-Baylor tonight, Tennessee-Syracuse tomorrow at 11. You can hear Mike Keith and Ramon Foster right here. courtesy of the Vol Network. So much more to get to. So, Justin Hawkins, back at the studio, can we get some terrible trivia game show music for, I think we have 7 matchups here to pick. We're just going to go around the table. We'll talk about our picks against the spread and the reasons behind it. And, Justin, just run us over with music when at your leisure. There it is. Fantastic.
It
makes you think. Tonight, the Auburn Tigers, with this tumultuous offseason they've had, Hugh Freeze saying dumb things, saying he might play all 3 quarterbacks against Baylor, and that Dave Aranda defense feels like a pretty big hinge point of a season for Hugh Freeze at Auburn. They go down to Baylor as 2.5-point favorites. Brett, what do you think?
I like Baylor. 6 wins to finish the season. They're returning 18 starters. 35 points a game last year. Sawyer Robertson is a quarterback, 28 touchdowns, 8 interceptions last year. And I think that going against Auburn and what they've dealt with this offseason, I like Baylor.
Robert?
Yeah, I don't know the spread as much. And here's my thing for all of these picks, guys. I, at all times, are pretending whether I know or do not know these teams. Okay. I'm better at this midway through the season. So at the beginning of the season, I am going to just pretend like I know these teams, and I'm going to pretend like I know Auburn sucks. And with the quarterback controversy or lack of controversy, where they don't even know who the hell is going to be the starter, Jackson Arnold, 5-star transfer, is expected to get the start. I like the under here. The under was set at, I believe it was 52.5. I don't have it right in front of me because I lazily forgot my laptop at home. But no matter what the under is for this game, anybody that doesn't know who their quarterback is going to be, I like the under, and I would take it.
57.5.
57.5.
And the line, by the way,
better.
The line is now Auburn minus 1.5.
Ooh,
but
okay.
Auburn is the more talented football team. Quarterback is the question. Dave Aranda will know how to prepare his defense for this game. I think I'm going to go Baylor to win at home.
Yep.
Does the vibes just feel wrong right now with Hugh Freeze and Auburn?
Yep.
Nothing about that feels like it's trending in the right direction. So I think we're in agreement with that one. Maybe the biggest game of the weekend, big noon kickoff. Ohio State, Texas in Columbus. Texas going on the road. And this line has moved significantly to where Texas are 1.5-point favorites.
That's
Ohio
crazy.
State was favored in this game. It has shifted. Arch Manning in Texas to go on the road against the defending national champions. Brett, what you got?
Yeah, this is tough. What a matchup to start week 1. Texas losing their top 3 receivers. I think they only have 1 offensive lineman returning. What's Arch going to be? I don't know. Going into the shoe, that is a tough place to play. But Ohio State's got the same thing. New offensive coordinator. Julian Sayin, but they have one of the top offensive lines in the country. So if they could protect, throw to Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate. I'm not even an Ohio State fan, and this pains me. There's 2 people with Texas shirts on over there.
They're waving at you.
I know. I'm not going to do the horns down. I'm not going to do that. But I do think Ohio State can pull this off.
Yeah, I like picking a good team where I get good points. Like if I get points, plus points for any good team, I'm going to take that. And the under-over set at 46.5. I'd take the over.
Yeah. Ohio State is still such a loaded roster. We talked about it earlier, Robert. I think Jeremiah Smith is the best offensive player in the country. I think Caleb Downs is the best defensive player in the country. But I'm buying into Arch Manning, not because his last name is Manning, but because he's a freak athlete, a talented player, and a guy that has done it, right? Like he has started games at this level, and he's won games for Texas as their starter. And I get that it's his show now, but I'm buying into Arch Manning and Steve Sarkisian to go in there and figure out a way to do it, as Julian Sayin kind of gets broken in with his starting debut.
Respectable.
Before we go to the next game, can I put something to a vote?
Please.
I absolutely hate this music. Can we kill this music? Like I feel like this is what I hear every day when I'm just walking around thinking anyway. I don't need the music going on.
You heard the man,
Oh, so he
Jayhawk.
plays it louder. Yes, Justin. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, it gets to be a little much. Alabama going down to Tallahassee. This line has ballooned now up to 14.5. I mean, just 24 hours ago it was 13.5. Now Alabama more than 2 touchdown favorites to go to Florida State, who was 2-10 last year. They once again rebuilt their roster in the portal. Bama missing 2 key defensive starters in Jam Miller and a starting defensive lineman and team captain as well. But a top 10 Bama team going into FSU as 14.5-point favorites.
Yep, I would like to put an over-under odds of weather delay.
Yeah, it might get sloppy.
90% chance of rain, thunderstorms. I mean, you know what it's like down there in Florida. I don't know. Gus is off at, will it click? Will it not?
Gus Malzahn, the new OC at FSU.
Ty Simpson, with Williams, Bernard, Horton. This is hard because Bama's going to win. I think so. I think they can even cover. I mean, it was 13.5, 14.5. I still think they can cover that. They're just going to be more physical, bigger, better in the trenches. Florida State's kind of a mess, even with some of the changes. But how long will it take for Gus and the offense for that to click? Week 1, I don't think it happens. So we're going Bama.
Bert?
Oh, that's tough for me. I love a good home dog. Playing in a new stadium, right?
Redone.
Yeah. Reupholstered.
Reupholstered.
They
Yes.
reupholstered that stadium.
Still Doak Campbell.
Maybe the field goal posts aren't 2 of the bars going down. Maybe they went to the single bar like what everybody else does in the country.
Have they had the 2 bars?
Oh, yes, they've had it.
I don't think I knew that.
So it's like, are you playing like a soccer game? Do you play your soccer games there too? Like, what's going on?
I like the points with home dogs. Give me the 14.5, and I like the under because of what you noted about the weather. Slimy game, nasty game. I don't really believe Tom Castellanos is as confident as he would like you to believe. Alabama will hold up their end of the bargain, but maybe Florida State keeps it close enough to cover and hit my under.
Well, FSU built their team in the portal 2 years ago and went undefeated and were snubbed from the playoff. They rebuilt their team in the portal last year and went 2-10 and bottomed out. And then they did it again this year, and I think it's going to be somewhere in the middle. I think it's going to kind of, law of averages will take place. So I don't think Florida State's going to be dreadful like they were last year. I don't think they're going to be elite like they were 2 years ago. I think Bama's going to be elite in 2025.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say free money because that's what I said when Bama was favored by 3 or more touchdowns at Vanderbilt last year. But I'm going Alabama with the points, 14.5. I'm just going to do it. I think that's one of the most talented teams in the country. Clemson LSU, arguably the biggest game of the weekend, 6:30 p.m. Central on ABC. Number 9 LSU at number 4 Clemson. Garrett Nussmeier against Cade Klubnik, arguably the most intriguing quarterback matchup as well. Who you got?
I got Clemson. Top 3 pass catchers are coming back. Different reports have, most across the country have Clemson as a top 5 O-line in the country. 9 returning starters on D. LSU 0-5 in season openers, last 5. 0-3 under Kelly. And so I don't even know, if it was in the other Death Valley, if it was in LSU, if that would make a difference. I just think Clemson's going to come out strong. A lot of guys coming back. They're not big. I mean, they've done a little bit in the portal, but they're not big on it, so they're homegrown. And obviously for a lot of guys to come back and return kind of shows how that program's run with Dabo. So I like Clemson.
Robert?
I also like Clemson. I think they may not have the better quarterback, but they do have the better lines on both sides of the ball. Peter Woods has been playing at Clemson for, it feels like, 12 years. Started since a freshman. And I can't remember the other cat's name, but 2 defensive linemen who could be very high draft picks come April. I like Clemson a lot. I would not touch this over-under because I do not know how this game is going to go from a scoring standpoint.
57.5. I agree.
That's tough. That's a big number.
I think Clemson wins, but LSU covers the 4.5.
Okay.
Now, some are saying the biggest game of the weekend here, Kentucky versus Toledo.
This is huge.
9.5-point favorites. Brett, I think Kentucky's going to be the worst team in the SEC this year.
Kentucky doesn't care. Stoops has a huge buyout. He knows he's not going anywhere. It's UK.
And Toledo, one of the best teams in the MAC.
Toledo's, I think, their favorite. They have 3 returning starters on the O-line, and they have the best offensive line in the MAC. Their quarterback, which I'm proud of him for not transferring, Tucker Gleason, 6'3", 245. He's a big boy. Last year, took the family down to Mississippi State, down to Starkville, and got to see him in person. And he is... he kind of has that Joey Sly effect. Like, you are a very big kicker, and Tucker had that same. You are a massive quarterback, and so they use him rushing. About 350 yards rushing last year, 7 touchdowns on the ground. Threw for 27 yards. They have their 2 best receivers coming back, Vander Ross and Holly. A little bit beat up on D. I think they only have 5 guys coming back. One of them, Alexander, first pick of the 3rd round with the Giants this year, big nose tackle. So it's 9.5. I think Toledo can win it, but I definitely think they'll cover. So we're looking forward to going up there tomorrow and and going up to the grocery store field,
nice.
and we're excited. So
going to Kroger Field. Brett Kern, Toledo legend, riding with the Rockets.
I will defer to the expert and also ride with the Rockets. And it has moved to 10.5, so you're getting a whole extra point there.
Man, that's a lot of points, man.
And with the Titans getting Samuel Womack, former fifth-round pick for the 49ers.
Toledo
guys.
Just pumping defensive backs into the NFL.
Quinyon Mitchell,
a couple years
first-round pick. Quinyon Mitchell with the Eagles, first-round pick. So, that's just what we do at Toledo. We just win games and pump out NFL athletes.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right, I'm going with Toledo for the win here. I'm so low on Kentucky. Zach Calzada, by the way, who was the quarterback for A&M when they beat Bama under Jimbo. That's how long he's been around.
Wow.
But, I think Kentucky's the worst team in the SEC this year. Okay, up against it, we're going to roll through South Carolina -7.5 at Virginia Tech. What you got?
After being in the car yesterday with Suckup, I'm going South Carolina.
Okay.
He gave me all the reasons why they lost to LSU last year. 2 interceptions called back. Bama, the missed kick. Obviously lost to Ole Miss. Lenore Sellers, let's go. South Carolina.
They're the far more talented team. Shane Beamer going up against the place where his dad is a legend. Frank, but what you got?
I have a Lenore Sellers future to win the Heisman at plus 1,800, so I need them to win this game.
Yeah.
I'm going South Carolina.
I think they win in cover.
Personal incentive for you, I understand.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to bet with your heart, and sometimes you bet with your wallet.
And then quickly, Notre Dame -2.5 at Miami.
What's Carson Beck going to be? No idea.
Yeah. Notre Dame.
He balls out. This is a different story, but I think Notre Dame, they are known for being physical, pounding the rock. I'll be curious to see what happens when they go down there. That heat, humidity, that's different than South Bend this time of year, but I like Notre Dame.
Robert? We were talking about big special teams players. I always think about Pat O'Donnell at Miami, a massive punter. I don't know if you ever got in a bar fight with him or alongside him.
Daniel Sepulveda, when he was at Baylor, he was a former linebacker. Punter got hurt. He went out there, punted, and he would. If you watched on film when he was with the Steelers, one of the Ray guy, 2-3 years in a row, when he punted for the Steelers, he would beat about 50% of the punt team down to go try to make a tackle.
The only thing I think of is the round, fat punter that the Steelers had. Was it Presley Harvin?
Yeah. He's a big boy. Georgia Tech boy. He's a big boy.
I am also going to ride with him on Notre Dame. Jeremiah Love, hopefully he has another 99-yard touchdown run like the last time we saw him play.
I agree.
Big fan of the Notre Dame.
Tennessee, 11 a.m. Central. Vol Network coverage right here in the zone. Mike Keith and Ramon Foster.
Can't wait for that.
Maiden voyage. I'm so pumped to listen to those two call the game. Vols, 2 touchdown favorites against Syracuse.
Yeah, I like UT. We can talk about somebody. Syracuse has a guy, David Reese. He's an 8th-year senior.
Oh,
facts. Yeah, they have a bunch of transfers. I mean, they went 10-3 last year. It was interesting, though. They were 6th in the country, 33 minutes of possession. So I'd be curious to see if they can retain that. If that keeps UT off the field offensively. But what's Aguilar going to be?
Yeah.
You're trying to replace Dylan Sampson, Bishop and Lewis if they can do that to protect. Producing that way, and how do you replace 100 catches, 1,500 yards, and 10 TDs with McCoy, Squirrel, and Thornton? And so I'll just be curious to see how. I'm not really concerned about their defense, but some of the guys that they brought in, like how is this offense going to click? And Aguilar being able to use his legs a little bit more than Nico did, but I do like UT to cover and win.
Robert.
I think they win, but I think Fran Barron keeps it close. Yeah. I think Syracuse covers.
I'm with you. I see a scenario where Tennessee, if one team routes the other, I think it's Tennessee routing Syracuse. There's so much unknown on the Syracuse side, and like we were talking about earlier.
A lot
of transfers. Tennessee's got unknowns too, but they're replacing those unknowns with guys that have been in the program.
Yep.
So Joey Aguilar's the wild card, but I do think Tennessee wins. I like Fran Brown a ton. Defensive-minded coach, former Georgia assistant. I think Syracuse is able to keep it scrappy.
And I'm a New York guy. I've been to the Dome. I've been to the Dome many times. Watched Syracuse basketball games, a couple football games. Back in the day, Marvin Harrison, Donovan McNabb. So I remember watching the game in '98. Opened in the Dome, and I think it was Jeff Hall's 27-yard field goal that won it.
That's right.
And obviously, without that win, I don't know about national championship.
That's
but
right.
There you go.
We had Keith Bullock in studio talking to us about that game just the other day. He was in that game.
Yeah.
So. Brett Kern, thanks for hanging out, man. Appreciate you coming out here.
You're the man, Brett.
It's a good times. Good times. It's nice. I feel like the show flowed. No offense to Buck, but it was like
the FNM
good conversation
is corresponding with that opinion.
A lot of positivity.
Something felt different today. You can't put the finger on what it was. Last call for phone call 615-737-1045. We'll get to your phone calls. Update the polls as we wrap things up from Yazoo Brewing in Madison. Next on 1045 The Zone.
And then top down.
Welcome back. Yazoo Brewing in Madison is where we are, thanks to Porch Factory and Logo Brands. Big thanks to Brett Kern for hanging out with us. I know, like, we are facetious, and the show's always better when Buck's not here, but it
really is. But it really is.
The way he would have dragged down the college football talk today.
Oh, my. Or, like, even he would have stopped us talking about special teams well into the first segment. Like, no one cares about who the returners are. Yes, we do.
No.
We do care.
So happy for him not being here. The FNM Bank chat happy as well. Last call for phone call, 615-737-1045. And it helps when we have people that know what they're talking about join the show, like Stoney Keeley.
Oh, sorry.
Not you. Coach Mack and Brett Kern. By the way, come out to Yazoo in Madison. Cover 2 is coming up next. 3HL will be out here with Mark Mariani and Kevin Dyson. And you've got a chance to win Tennessee football tickets. You've got merch courtesy of Volunteer Traditions that you can win out here and enjoy some of this pregame Pilsner, some burgers from Grill Shack.
Oh, the burger's so good.
Yeah.
I'm glad I listened to your direction there.
Yeah, it's the wings, too. The wings at Grill Shack, fantastic. Hard to eat wings during commercial breaks on a radio show, but they always deliver. 615-737-1045. Let's get to the phones. As waiting patiently is Miles. Miles wants to talk Georgia football on 104.5 The Zone. Hey, Miles.
Hey, how are you, gentlemen? Thanks for taking my call.
Good, man. What you got?
Georgia, Tennessee. What's your take? Because a friend of mine at church, Andy, if Georgia, when Georgia wins, just got to wear Georgia outfit to church. And I don't have any plans to wear Tennessee. There you go. Well, what's your take on it? I'd like to hear it. I'll hang up and listen.
Thanks for the call, Miles. I wasn't hearing him very well. He's asking about the Georgia-Tennessee game in Week 3.
I hope so. That's what I heard.
Well, that is indeed what you wanted to ask about. Well, we still have to learn about these teams. First of all, Week 1 hasn't kicked off. Georgia, I have a hard time thinking Georgia is going to struggle in the areas where they struggled last year. I don't think Kirby Smart will allow that, and that was running the football, which was very uncharacteristic, wide receiver play, which they bolstered in the offseason, and it all comes down to Gunnar Stockton. Georgia's a more talented team. I think they'll be better, marginally better in the trenches than Tennessee, and that game is at Neyland Stadium. So what kind of equalizer can home field and Joey Aguilar be for the Vols in that game remains to be seen.
This is concerning. Actually, he was asking about Georgia's congressional race. Wrong show. None of us know any. I don't even know who's running.
Was he actually?
No, I made that up. Where would I have seen that at?
Damn it, Bert. I am so gullible with the things that you say.
Who gets to? It better not be me. I better not get demerited.
That is strictly on Lucas.
Justin, do you know how to do the polls? I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
You're going.
I'm not trying to be insulting. Yeah. Let's do some polls.
Yeah. Everyone's so used to Buck making that noise when that happens.
Lucas, use the force. Use the force, Lucas, to help interpret what the hell Chewie is saying.
I can do it until it dies. I can do it until it dies.
Lucas, I am not your father. I repeat, I am not your father, nor am I Buck's father. Those ones are Jedi.
What I'm trying to say is,
It's time to update the final results here on the Fighting Show.
Here you go. You do it, mine.
The polls brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, the most trusted Ford dealership in all of the South. Hopefully you were watching on Zone TV to see Lucas adjust my microphone. He is my radio wife. What's the most positive story you've seen in sports this week? Scoob hits the nail on the head by saying, at Buck Rising, leaving the country. Ha ha! I hate when people put ha ha. You didn't really laugh, Scoob, when you were typing that.
No.
Karen also saying Rick Barnes getting a lifetime contract. That's also a Friday fire-worthy. We had a great submission, though. Shout out to, was it Yvonne?
Joe, whose wife Yvonne beat cancer.
Correct. Great Friday fire submission. What better describes Jerry Jones when he calls Micah Parsons Michael? Senile or disrespectful? Senile winning 58 to 42%.
What do you think?
Probably, can it be both?
Yeah, it could be both.
He probably doesn't know it's disrespectful, and he's also old as hell.
It's just slip in his mind.
Yeah. Does Tennessee cover the 13.5 versus Syracuse? Split poll here. 49% say Yes. 51% say no. Tennessee cannot cover against Syracuse.
I want to say yes, and there's a scenario where they do, but it's hard. There's a lot of unknowns for me to confidently say they'll win by 2 or more touchdowns.
What CFB player are you most interested in watching this weekend? We got a Nico Emiliava, DJ Lagway, Joey Aguilar, Pavia, Arch Manning, Jeremiah Smith. There is no wrong answer because there is no wrong football. If your wife, your husband, whoever the hell tells you to cut the games off, tell them to shut up. Throw them out of the house. This is our weekend. Those are the polls.
11 a.m. tomorrow, Vol Network coverage of Tennessee versus Syracuse. That is the kickoff. High school football tonight on My TV 30, Brentwood Academy. Hope you'll join us for that.
I'll be watching.
Enjoy your football weekend. Cover 2 up next from Yazoo Brewing in Madison.